Chapter 799. The two of them looked at Li Zhongjiu. These two people were two of the 5 saints of the Crimson Cloud continent. They didn't come here for the 6th grade medicinal herbs. After all, although these 6th grade medicinal herbs were precious, it wasn't difficult to obtain them, especially for a 6th grade alchemist. One of them was a genuine 6th grade alchemist. Among the Crimson Cloud 5 saints, only the boss had broken through the 6th grade alchemist realm. Because of the appearance of the 6th grade alchemist, these people became active. Recently, some of the famous alchemists in the Crimson Cloud Prefecture seemed to have a feeling of surpassing them. Therefore, the Crimson Cloud 5 saints also took this opportunity to make a name for themselves. In the dark, who knew how many pairs of eyes swept across these people, wandering? It was all for the sake of finding weaker people. At the beginning, although these arena masters were already in place, there were still relatively few people who wanted to go up. Li Zhongjiu's eyes also swept back and forth across these people. After all, he needed to know who was carrying the drunken life flower among these people. No matter what, he had to get his hands on the flower. 6th grade medicinal herbs. Li Zhongjiu didn't want to let it go so easily. Haha, old black, since you're the arena master, I naturally won't let you go so easily. I'll challenge you. Let's have a fire fight. A figure directly jumped onto the alchemy platform and began to compete with the opponent. The next round of challenges also began in an instant. Some people chose to watch the battle, while others chose to directly jump onto the platform. Old Mo, who came with Li Zhongjiu, wasn't in a hurry. What he needed was to stay until the end. It wasn't a good thing to be the first to stand out now. At the same time, Old Mo also wanted to see who Li Zhongjiu was and what ability he had. Li Yun and Tian Fei both followed by Li Zhongjiu's side. The two of them looked around curiously. They had always seen the big competition between alchemists, but they didn't expect that today they would have the opportunity to see a battle between alchemists. Obviously, the competition between alchemists was much more refined. The one in red seems to be very powerful. Li Yun saw a man in red sitting on the 5th arena in front of him. He directly closed his eyes and rested on the spot, adjusting his aura. During this process, the surrounding aura was also constantly flowing, causing a trace of reverence to rise in people's hearts. It seemed that this person's body contained an extremely terrifying killing move, causing people to not dare to approach him. Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon. This terrifying guy. Why is also here? Before this, no one had recognized this person. However, when they saw the appearance of the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon, they were all shocked. They couldn't believe their eyes. It was said that in order to subdue a primordial fire demon, this person had almost exhausted all methods. He had even reached a state of chi deviation. Later on, when this guy entered a state of chi deviation, he also killed many people. Now that he was sitting here, who knew if this guy was a lunatic? They were only here to participate in the alchemy competition. If there was any danger to their lives, it wouldn't be worth it. It was better to be safe and not fight with this lunatic first. I heard that this guy seems to have brought the drunken dream flower with him. In order to refine this primordial fire, this guy also rushed directly to that place, but in the end, he also directly went crazy. It had to be said that some alchemists were really talkative. Just a small matter, and they would talk about it everywhere. Since Li Zhongjiu heard it, he naturally wanted to join in the fun. I'll go and see if this guy has any flowers,
Li Zhongjiu said.
As soon as his voice fell, his figure leaped and landed on the stage. In the arena of the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon, someone came up so quickly. This caused the people below the stage to be shocked. When they saw that Li Zhongjiu was the person who had displayed his invincible might in the inn just now, all of them began to pay attention to him. Just what was the background of this Li Zhongjiu? He actually had such terrifying strength, and now he directly challenged the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon. This wasn't a simple matter. It wouldn't be easy to deal with this guy. Good boy, you really don't know life from death. Seeing that Li Zhongjiu actually took the initiative to provoke the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon, Old Mo's eyes suddenly turned cold. So, what if you are a genius? With the strength of the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon, It would be easy for it to defeat this Li Zhongjie, or even cripple him. There were clearly so many people, but you just had to provoke such a dangerous person. Therefore, in Old Mo's eyes, Li Zhongjie was a dead man. If you want to court death, then what are you if not a dead man? This kid actually went to challenge the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon. He really doesn't want to live anymore. Damn, he's fierce. I saw this kid's performance before. He's also a ruthless person. He's really powerful. I want to see how exciting it will be. Even the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon didn't expect that someone would actually dare to challenge it so quickly. With such an imposing aura, could it be possible that he would meet a worthy opponent? Therefore, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon opened its eyes in disdain, sizing up Li Zhongjie. How can we compete? The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon said indifferently. Its meaning was as if it was waiting for Li Zhongjie to speak, giving the initiative to Li Zhongjie. This was obviously a kind of contempt towards Li Zhongjie. It was really arrogant. Whatever, let's have a fire battle, Li Zhongjie said. For alchemists, a fire battle was a competition of the strength of the flame and the ability to control the flame. In terms of time, the outcome of the battle would naturally be decided more quickly. However, the danger was naturally higher because if it was a flame, it might just injure you directly. When the onlookers heard that Li Zhongjie actually chose to have a fire battle with the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon, they couldn't help but shake their heads. One by one, they couldn't help but shake their heads. Obviously, this Li Zhongjie came here to court death. What was the difference between this and jumping off a cliff? They really couldn't find any difference. However, there's no meaning in betting on a 6th-grade medicinal herb. Do you dare to bet everything? Li Zhongjie continued. Bet everything. That would be cutting off the other party's path of retreat. It would be a battle to the death. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's eyes also changed. Looking at Li Zhongjie's young and tender face, the corners of its mouth couldn't help but curl up. I have 10 6th-grade medicinal herbs. How many do you want to bet? 10 6th-grade medicinal herbs. Obviously, this Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon came prepared. He wanted to stand out in this dark horse pill assembly. He even wanted to make a huge profit. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon had revealed his trump card. This was also telling Li Zhongjie that he had 10 Tier 6 spiritual herbs in his hands. How many did Li Zhongjie have? Seeing such a scene, the others also wanted to know if Li Zhongjie had that much strength. Okay, 10 then,
Li Zhongjie said.
Then, he directly threw a storage ring into the hands of the notary. The notary lightly scanned it and was shocked by the things inside. 10 6th-grade medicinal herbs, no mistake. These notaries were all senior appraisers invited by the 3 major herbal medicine merchants. Therefore, even if you wanted to use fake and inferior medicinal herbs to make up the numbers, it was basically impossible. As for the appraisers, the amount of medicinal herbs they had seen and touched was even more than the total amount of the alchemists. After all, the amount of medicinal herbs they dealt with every day was too much. The amount of medicinal herbs was too much to count. Everyone exclaimed again. They didn't expect this young man to be able to take out 10 6th-grade medicinal herbs. It was such a fierce competition right from the start, and it immediately made the people around them perk up. At the same time, many people began to envy the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon. This fire demon's luck is really good. He met such a big fish the moment he came. That's right. Even if he left after this competition, he would have doubled his assets. Why can't I meet such a fool? Chapter 800. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon was naturally happy in his heart. Similarly, he threw the storage ring that contained the herbs to the notary. The notary took the storage ring in his hand and swept his gaze over it. After seeing the items within, he nodded towards Li Zhongjie. The quantity is correct. 10 stalks of 6th-grade herbs. The notary said. It was hard to believe that such a ferocious battle was taking place right from the start. Since the notary said that there was no problem, then there was definitely no problem. With 3 herb merchants backing him, how could he be afraid of not having enough herbs? Li Zhongjie wasn't in a hurry to ask if there was the drunken dream flower inside. Instead, He looked at the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon and waved his hand. "Make your move." Li Zhongjiu's words were simply arrogant to the extreme. He didn't choose to challenge the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon in alchemy, but he arrogantly chose to fight with fire. Not only that, he even took out all the herbs he had on him. How stupid must this child be to do such a thing? Now Li Zhongjiu was still so arrogant. He recklessly let the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon make the first move. It was simply like jumping down from a bottomless abyss. At the same time, he was carrying a huge rock on his back, as if he was afraid that he wouldn't die from the fall. Demonic Wolf Fire. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon wasn't a gentleman. To be called a demon, it was naturally because he had done many crazy things. At this moment, there was a terrifying energy condensing in his hands. Boom! It was as if a green fire wolf was condensing in the center of his palm. Following the movement of the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's hand, he suddenly waved it and threw the fire wolf out. Roar! The fire wolf was vivid and lifelike. Its speed was astonishing, and its power was swift and fierce. Even with the shielding Yuan rune array, Li Yun and Li Zhongjiu could feel a wave of heat. At this moment, facing the fire wolf, Li Zhongjiu was bound to suffer the attack of the flames. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's control over flames has actually reached such a level. When some people saw the scene, they were clearly deeply shocked. As expected of the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon, his attack this time around had already displayed an extremely extraordinary stance. Ordinary alchemists could at most condense their flames into the shape of a long whip. The power of the flame itself was still in their hands and could not be directly controlled by their body. As for this fire wolf, it directly broke away from the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's hand. Like an independent spirit, it directly rushed towards Li Zhongjiu.
Boom!
The ferocious green fire wolf charged directly at Li Zhongjiu. Li Zhongjiu just stood there, as if he had been scared silly by the scene in front of him. It's not that simple. Since Li Zhongjiu wanted to fight, then naturally, he would let Li Zhongjiu enjoy himself. Since you gave me a grade 6 stone pearl medicinal ingredient, then I'll let you die even more happily and heroically. Split. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's hands moved and instantly separated between his palms. The fire wolf that was rushing forward instantly split into 3. When it had rushed in front of Li Zhongjiu, it had clearly only been one fire wolf. However, in an instant, it had split into 3 fire wolves and rushed towards Li Zhongjiu from 3 different directions. Be careful. Li Yun couldn't help but shout when she felt the sudden increase in power of the flames. It seemed that Li Zhongjiu's opponent was an extremely powerful person. When Li Zhongjiu faced his opponent's move, it seemed as if he was completely scared silly. He didn't even know how to counterattack. Old Mo's eyes were also firmly staring at Li Zhongjiu. Clearly, Old Mo was also looking forward to the scene in his heart. However, the scene that everyone was looking forward to did not appear. They saw Li Zhongjiu directly flicking his finger. With just 3 flaming lights, the fire wolves in front of him were defeated one after another.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
An intense fluctuation swept out. Many people didn't even see how Li Zhongjiu made his move, but they could already hear the sound of the fire wolf shattering.
Go!
In Li Zhongjiu's hand, there seemed to be an additional flame whip. As Li Zhongjiu swung it with all his strength, the flame whip directly swept towards the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon.
Boom!
The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon rubbed his hands together, and a flame sword appeared in his hand. Facing Li Zhongjiu's flame whip, a cold light emerged in his eyes. Break for me. When he saw Li Zhongjiu easily destroying the fire wolves, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon already knew that the situation wasn't good. With the strength of the youth before him, he was afraid that it wouldn't be easy to deal with him. When the sword slashed out, a flame storm instantly swept up in the surroundings. One had to admit that the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's ability to control flames had already reached an extremely grand realm. The flame storm trapped Li Zhongjiu within. The power that had gathered in the surroundings seemed to have formed a terrifying furnace. However, The flame whip in Li Zhongjiu's hand had already coiled around the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's body. At this very moment, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon was startled when he saw the flame whip coiling around his waist. Immediately, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon wanted to remove the flame whip. However, he discovered that the flame wasn't an ordinary flame. At this moment, it had actually seeped into the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's body. Not good. Immediately, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon roared and circulated his yuan power, wanting to expel the flame from his body. However, it was already too late. Whoosh! In the next moment, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's body was ignited by the flame. When the flame started to burn from within his body, he would no longer have the slightest chance. No! The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon roared. Even the surrounding firestorm had obscured the vision of the surrounding people, making it difficult for them to clearly see what was happening within. However, when they heard the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon's roar, they immediately understood that the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon had fallen into a disadvantageous position. The surrounding flames were gradually dispelled. Then, a figure appeared in everyone's line of sight. How is this possible? Looking at Li Zhongjiu, who was still standing at the same spot, everyone looked at him with an extremely shocked gaze. In front of Li Zhongjiu, a storage ring fell from a pile of black ashes. When the pile of ashes appeared in front of them, these people clearly understood a fact. That was, Li Zhongjiu had directly killed the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon. Furthermore, he had used the most brutal method to do so. When such a terrifying flame energy was displayed, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon did not have the slightest chance. The people outside did not even see it clearly. Only the notary on the scene could see everything clearly. Because of the close distance and the fact that the notary's strength was not weak, he was able to see the process of Li Zhongjiu killing the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon in front of him. The entire process was extremely simple. It could even be said that there were no unnecessary complications. It was like using a chopper to chop wood. Raising the hand and chopping the blade down, it was natural. It was that simple. Give me his medicinal ingredients, Li Zhongjiu directly said. Even though he was the notary, he was still unable to react. However, after he reacted, he quickly handed over the medicinal ingredients in his hand. As expected of Li Zhongjiu, the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's honorary elder, Wu Qingfeng and the rest looked at Li Zhongjiu's arena. They were not surprised by the battle strength that Li Zhongjiu had displayed. It was precisely this kind of strength that allowed Li Zhongjiu to become the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's honorary elder. Since the people in front of them were just rogue cultivators, they would not pay much attention to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's honorary elder. Furthermore, Li Zhongjiu's appearance was not impressive. He did not even have any extravagance and did not look very noble. Therefore, they naturally did not think that Li Zhongjiu was the honorary elder. After all, this young man had become the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's honorary elder. Such a matter was inconceivable. If he stood in front of you, how would you dare to believe it? Chapter 801. It was because of this kind of disbelief that they had when they met Li Zhongjiu. Their ending was extremely tragic. The Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon is dead? The onlookers could not believe their eyes. They were even trying their best to search for the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon in the surroundings. They wanted to see if the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon was hiding somewhere. Clearly, they were thinking too much. There was no chance for them to find the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon. 10 6th grade elixirs in hand. This made everyone jealous. This was just the beginning. It was very easy to get such an opportunity. This Dark Horse Alchemy gathering was actually a huge gamble. However, the one who gambled was the alchemist, and the stakes were the 6th grade elixirs in hand. Using the 6th grade elixirs as a stake, it might only be a small amount at the beginning. However, as the numbers accumulated, people's eyes would slowly turn red. This kid. Seeing Li Zhongjiu easily obtained 10 6th grade elixirs, the onlookers could not help themselves. Many people were unable to hold themselves back and began to make their moves. They wanted to be like Li Zhongjiu, to find a suitable opponent and use the same method to acquire the 6th grade elixir. This is too fucking awesome. I'll go to the arena. If you don't even dare to go to the arena, what's the point of coming here? The people who came to the Dark Horse Elixir meeting were all hoping to get a great harvest in the end, or they hoped to make a name for themselves. Since everyone had their own plans, they would naturally take the initiative to move forward. The entire Dark Horse Square was bustling with noise and excitement. However, no one dared to go to the arena where Li Zongjio was. Everyone intentionally or unintentionally avoided Li Zongjio. In another arena, another person was directly defeated. However, this person had spoken rudely to his opponent. Thus, he was directly set on fire by his opponent and burned to death. The flame was like a lingering ghost that was constantly rolling back and forth on the body of the person who was being burned.
Ah.
I beg you, kill me quickly. The flame burned the person in an orderly manner. As for the person standing on the stage, he was just watching coldly from the sidelines. When the crowd saw this person, they immediately went into an uproar. Isn't that the Qianquan Pill Saint? Qianquan Pill Saint. It is said that the Qianquan sacred flame used by the Qianquan Pill Saint is extremely powerful. Once touched by the Qianquan sacred flame, one's flesh and bones will be separated and burned to death. When the ability of the Qianquan Pill Saint was mentioned, everyone was extremely shocked. Moreover, the Qianquan Pill Saint was the leader of the Scarlet Cloud 5 Saints. The Qianquan Pill Saint. How dare you call yourself the heavenly sacred flame with such a crooked method? Are you stupid? Li Zongjio looked at the arrogant look on the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint's face and felt very unhappy looking at him. Others didn't know about the Scarlet Cloud 5 Saints, but how could Li Zongjio not know? Although the Scarlet Cloud 5 Saints didn't have any enmity with him in his previous life, this group of people was really too hypocritical because he didn't know where they got a set of Yuan formula. The magical thing about this Yuan formula was that it could create one's own Yuan fire. The strength of the primordial fire was related to the method used to refine it. Through different formulas and the cultivation of this Yuan formula, the power of the Yuan fire could be obtained. However, the flame cultivated in this way was only some extremely inferior power. Before the 6th grade alchemist, the Origin Emperor realm, they could flaunt their prowess a little. In the early stage, they indeed had enough strength. However, the further they got, the more the effect would gradually decline, and the decline would be very fast. Some drawbacks would also appear. They would even be far inferior to ordinary alchemists. Moreover, these people's Yuan formula was originally snatched from a family. Until now, the people of these families were also chasing after the Scarlet Cloud 5 Saints. Both sides had also gone through a competition. When the Crimson Cloud 5 Saints obtained this set of elemental arts, they directly hid in the depths of the mountains and forests. That was how they cultivated to their current level. Very few people knew the whole story behind it. Li Zongjio happened to be one of them. Therefore, he was also extremely dissatisfied with the Scarlet Cloud 5 Saints. The Qianquan Pill Saint looked around arrogantly. Finally, his gaze fell on Li Zongjio. There was also a hint of provocation in his eyes. It seemed to be saying that sooner or later, I, the Qianquan Pill Saint, will definitely defeat you and trample you under my feet. Li Zongjio also happened to see the Qianquan Pill Saint's gaze. He couldn't bear it anymore. He directly jumped down from the arena and walked towards the Qianquan Pill Saint. This was because the Qianquan Pill Saint had already attracted the attention of many people. At this moment, when they suddenly saw Li Zongjio's actions, everyone was pleasantly surprised. It seemed that another good show was about to play out. However, the face of the notary in the pill assembly changed. This was because they didn't expect such a situation. Why did Li Zongjio directly jump down? As the arena master, of course, he couldn't easily leave his own arena. Otherwise, how could he attack the arena? Therefore, the notary also quickly jumped down from the arena and came to Li Zongjio's side. It wasn't easy for him to pull Li Zongjio down. Wait. Elderly, this pill assembly has a rule that the arena master can't leave the arena without permission. Please go back quickly. The notary pulled Li Zongjio and hurriedly advised. The Qianquan Pill Saint also did not expect this Li Zongjio to directly walk over because of his gaze. What did this guy mean? Wasn't he too arrogant? Even if he had the strength, it was impossible for him to be so willful. Did he have the confidence to defeat him? The Qianquan Pill Saint's gaze was incomparably calm. When he saw Li Zongjio walking over, he even had the feeling of retreating. Fortunately, the notary directly stopped Li Zongjio. Otherwise, if this Li Zongjio directly jumped up, who knew what would happen? Fuck, what's wrong with this brat? He's actually so fierce. He hadn't even said anything, but this brat already wanted to come up and fight with him. His temper was actually so fiery. What are you doing? He looks very fierce. Hurry up and return to your arena. Li Yun also stepped forward to persuade him. At the same time, she pulled Li Zongjio back. He dared to stare at me just now,
Li Zongjio said.
At this moment, if it wasn't for Li Yun stopping him, Li Zongjio would have definitely stepped forward to take care of this guy. So what if I stare at you? Do you have to go up and beat him to death? Sigh, why are you so grumpy? Li Yun put her hands on her hips and put on the posture of an elder sister. This was something that Li Yun should do. Although her strength was not as good as Li Zongjio's, if Li Zongjio continued to be like this, something would happen sooner or later. No matter how great your ability is, you can't withstand your temper. After being scolded by Li Yun, Li Zongjio's face was naturally filled with helplessness. Then he obediently walked back and stood on his arena. However, with Li Zongjio's current state, it was certain that no one would dare to come up and provoke him. Everyone could see that Li Zongjio was in a very bad mood. If he challenged Li Zongjio now, wouldn't he be making things difficult for himself? So he chose to challenge other places first. The arena masters were constantly changing. The rest of the people also wanted to maintain this continuous victory, but it was extremely difficult. Congratulations to Kuan Arisher from Kuan Castle for successfully defending the arena for 3 rounds. He has received a 6th grade medicinal ingredient exchange voucher. Chapter 802. Someone was announcing the battle situation from the side. What the Dark Horse Elixir Assembly needed the most was such a dark horse. Kuan Arisher actually took the lead to become the first person to win 3 rounds in a row in this Dark Horse Elixir Assembly, defending the arena for 3 rounds and defeating all the challengers one after another. There was no doubt about this kind of strength. The Radiance also instantly blessed Kuan Arisher. However, after this series of battles, Kuan Arashi's condition also suffered a lot of twists and turns. Under this difficult battle, Kuan Arisher also persevered, so now Kuan Arisher also got a chance to rest. The rest of the people were also tricked by Kuan Arisher at the beginning. It seemed that Kuan Arisher defeated the enemy by a narrow margin every time, which made the rest of the people misjudge Kuan Arashi's strength. Although they knew that Kuan Arisher must have a trump card, they didn't expect that Kuan Arisher was actually so strong. He had persisted until the end and still hadn't reached his limit. Congratulations to the Heaven and Earth Elixir Saint from the Qian State for successfully defending the arena for 3 rounds. You have obtained a 6th grade elixir exchange voucher. Defending the arena for 3 rounds was a hurdle. Many people wanted to cross this hurdle, but they didn't succeed. There were only a few people who succeeded. Those who succeeded in obtaining this honor could directly rest today and pass this round. After all, they had to go up the arena at least once. After going up, if they wanted to come down, they would either be beaten down by others or obtain 3 consecutive victories and then come down smoothly. The Heaven and Earth Elixir Saint's eyes stared in the direction of Li Zongjio, revealing a trace of provocation. It seemed that he was mocking Li Zongjio, and at the same time, he seemed to be showing off his strength. Li Zongjio just looked at the Heaven and Earth Elixir Saint indifferently. Hey, you old fox, do you dare to come up and fight with me? Li Zongjio looked at the Heaven and Earth Dan Saint's provocative gaze and felt a wave of displeasure. Right now, he couldn't hold it in any longer. Even if this scene couldn't continue, he would definitely jump down and kill this Qianquan Pill Saint. Old fox. Even in his dreams, Qianquan Dan Saint never thought that this word would actually appear on his body. There was simply no one else like him. Some people could not help but laugh out loud when they heard this. However, the Qianquan pill saint was currently in a freeze state. If he caught you and beat you up, he would definitely beat you into a retard. Naturally, they did not dare to laugh on the surface. Everyone's eyes were on the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint. Even if the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint wanted to pretend not to hear, it was very difficult. In the face of Li Zongjiu's provocation, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint clenched his fists at this moment. He couldn't wait to rush up and punch Li Zongjiu's head. However, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint forcefully endured it. Why should I be entangled with an arrogant person like you? The Heaven and Earth Pill Saint said indifferently. So, what if I let you live for 2 more days? Originally, Li Yun felt that Li Zongjiu was taking the initiative to provoke others again. This kind of behavior was very wrong. However, after hearing that the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was so arrogant and even dared to directly insult Li Zongjiu no matter what, Li Zongjiu was still a member of the Li family. You old man, what are you talking about? You can't kill a member of my Li family if you want to. Li Yun shouted at the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint. Her expression was also very similar to an angry tiger. Under this clamor, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was also furious. He was a dignified 6th grade alchemist. At this moment, he was actually bullied by 2 young people. How could this be? If he continued to endure it, then the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint wouldn't need to stay in the alchemy world in the future. Very well. Since you want to die today, then I will fulfill your wish. The Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was so angry that he laughed. He immediately leaped up and rushed to the arena where Li Zongjiu was. Today, I want you to know who the world of alchemy in the Qian Prefecture belongs to. How dare you be so impudent in front of me? At this moment, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was obviously very domineering. Most of the people around him were also from the Qian Prefecture. When they heard that the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was actually so powerful and was facing Li Zongjiu head-on, it gave people an extremely satisfying feeling. The most important thing was that Li Zongjiu was here, and the powerful stance that he had displayed earlier gave people a feeling that he was extremely difficult to deal with. Now that the Heaven and Earth Dan Saint dared to directly face the difficulty, it gave the surrounding people the feeling that the Heaven and Earth Dan Saint was fighting for the glory of the Qian Prefecture. Zongjiu, don't give me face. Just cripple him and let him know the power of our Li family, Li Yun said directly. He also expressed his confidence in Li Zongjiu. By now, Li Yun finally understood that with Li Zongjiu's strength, there was no one that Li Zongjiu couldn't handle. In any case, until now, he had never seen anyone like that. As long as he left everything to Li Zongjiu, it would be fine. Li Zongjiu naturally didn't have any objections to Li Yun's words. Stinking girl, wait until I cripple this arrogant brat. I'll definitely let you have a taste of my power, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint directly said to Li Yun fiercely. His eyes were filled with the desire to cripple Li Yun right now. Old thing, be careful with your words. I'll burn your tongue in a while, Li Zongjiu said indifferently. Since the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was already standing on the stage, he was already prepared to fight with Li Zongjiu. Therefore, he did not continue to argue with Li Zongjiu over the power of words. He pointed at the notary. I want to challenge this person. 5 6th grade spiritual medicines. The way of the battle is to refine the iron origin root, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint said. 5 6th grade spiritual medicines. Relatively speaking, these 5 6th grade spiritual medicines were definitely a huge gamble. If this battle was to end, it would definitely not be simple. Obviously, the Heaven and Earth Pill Saint was still a little conservative. After all, this was just the beginning. There were still many 6th grade spiritual medicines waiting for him to harvest. Even if he was really confident, he would definitely have to stabilize himself first. He wouldn't just blindly charge out. That was just the way of a reckless man. Such behavior, in the eyes of others, would be very childish. If he can win, I'll give him all the 6th grade spiritual medicines on me, Li Zongjiu said directly. The Heaven and Earth Pill Saint's eyes lit up. This was a good opportunity. Young people really couldn't stand being stimulated. With just 5 spiritual medicines, he could win at least 26th grade spiritual medicines. This was definitely a good deal. Immediately, the heaven and earth pill saint revealed an evil smile. Deal. Chapter 803. Li Zongjiu did not know what this guy was laughing at. However, it was a good thing to be able to face this setback with such a natural attitude. Since you like to laugh, you might as well laugh more. The day was coming to an end. Most of the people had gone through a round of elimination. Some people had lost completely and entered a state of bankruptcy. Everyone stopped what they were doing to watch the fierce battle between the two giants. Previously, Li Zongjiu had already defeated an expert from the Qiyun Prefecture. At this moment, he was facing one of the 5 saints of the Qiyun Prefecture, the Qianquan Pill Saint. In the eyes of the crowd, this Li Zongjiu was also an extremely powerful person. Otherwise, he would have died long ago. The way the two of them were competing was suggested by the Qianquan Pill Saint, which was to refine the iron elemental root. The iron elemental root was not unfamiliar among the alchemists. It could even be said that they were very familiar with it. Many newbies needed to learn how to use the iron elemental root to strengthen the foundation. This was a compulsory course for alchemists when they entered the sect. This was because the iron elemental root had a very low sensitivity to the fire attribute. Although the iron elemental root was not very hard, it could be easily broken by hand. However, if one wanted to use fire to refine it, it would require a lot of power. If one wanted to cultivate the power of fire, one must release all the power in one's body. Only in this way could one continuously refine the fire in one's body, allowing one to better control the power of fire. Therefore, almost every alchemist had an iron elemental root. The iron elemental root itself was the root of the iron elemental tree. Soon, the organizer of the Dark Horse Pill Convocation also prepared the iron elemental root. The 2 iron elemental roots had the same weight. The difficulty of refining them was also the same. These 2 iron elemental roots are the same. You and I will compete to see who can refine the iron elemental root into iron elemental liquid in the shortest time. When the iron elemental root melted, it would become iron elemental liquid. The iron elemental liquid's scalding temperature was even higher than the magma in the volcano. Moreover, it had to be carried by a special object. Ordinary objects could not withstand the temperature of the iron elemental liquid. Okay. Li Zongjiu did not say anything and directly made a decision. The Qianquan Pill Saint was once again pleased with himself. If it was some other competition, then he might not have such a chance of winning. However, refining this iron origin root in the competition was already as easy as flipping his hand for this Qianquan Dan Saint. This was because his flames were also born from this iron origin root. To other people, the iron origin root was like a boulder that could not be refined, but to Qianquan Dan Saint it was simply a common occurrence. That heaven and earth Dan Saint's cultivation has most likely already stepped into the ranks of grade 6 pills. Otherwise, these people would not have acted so easily. There was a cold glint in Elder Mo's eyes as he sized up the people around him. So far, Old Mo still hadn't found the expert the 10 Directions Medicine Hall had invited. He didn't even know the name list until now. At this moment, those people were also hiding in the crowd, concealing their own strength. Therefore, Old Mo was also very nervous and incomparably vigilant. If the 10 Directions Medicine Hall was compared to the 10 Directions Medicine Hall, then the strength of the 10 Directions Medicine Hall was not much different from the 100 Medicine Hall. The expert invited by the other party was certainly not weak. It was all for the following competition. After all, the ranking between them would affect the competition of interests between the 3 great herb merchants. To actually compete in refining the iron origin root, this is really boring, Li Yun said with a frown. What kind of situation was this? She actually wanted to see 2 experts refining the iron origin root here. Everyone also heard the rules of the competition. They wanted to see who could refine the iron origin root in the shortest time. Moreover, the refined iron origin liquid had to be compared to see who was more thorough. Even the iron origin liquid had different degrees of refinement. Ordinary refinement would appear white. If it was refined thoroughly, it would appear translucent. But if it was completely refined, it would become transparent. In the market, this transparent iron origin liquid was very rare. White iron origin liquid, on the other hand, was very abundant. It was a very good material to refine this kind of weapon. However, transparent iron origin liquid was very rare. Even if it was the flame of a 6th-grade alchemist, it was extremely difficult to refine this transparent iron origin liquid. He picked up the iron origin root in his hand. The Qianquan Pill Saint had already begun to show off his strength. The Qianquan sacred flame appeared in his palms. The iron origin root was also gently rotating in the flame between his palms. Through this method, the temperature was also roasting the iron elemental root. It could be seen that the iron elemental root had already turned from a black tree root to a scarlet color. On the contrary, looking at Li Zongjiu, he didn't seem to be in a hurry. It seemed that he was looking for something in his storage ring. I've seen a 5th-grade alchemist refine this iron origin root before. It seems that it took him 12 hours to refine this iron origin root into white iron origin liquid. With my strength, it would take at least 24 hours to refine this iron origin root. The Qianquan Pill Saint's flame seemed to have a strong restraining effect on this iron origin root. It actually burned this iron origin root until it turned red so quickly. According to my estimation, I will definitely be able to refine it completely in less than 4 hours. The Qianquan Pill Saint seemed to have heard the discussion of the people below. Immediately, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. In that case, I will show my strength and let these people know today to broaden their horizons. Qianquan's sacred flame. Sacrifice the universe. The flame between his palms suddenly spread out. Even if the scene was seen by outsiders, it was enough to see that the world between the Qianquan Pill Saint's palms was flying up and down, as if it was constantly boiling. This time, the spinning world was also directly in the hands of the Qianquan Pill Saint. 6th-grade alchemist. This Qianquan Pill Saint has indeed broken through the 6th-grade realm. 6th-grade alchemist, he really is a 6th-grade alchemist. The appearance of a 6th-grade alchemist was almost like the appearance of a wolf king and a pack of wolves. Everyone had no choice but to be convinced by the strength of this 6th-grade alchemist. Even if you were at the peak of the 5th grade, you would not be a match for this 6th-grade alchemist. He only needed a finger to easily defeat you. This was the strength of a 6th-grade alchemist. It was different in that realm. This is troublesome. This guy is actually a 6th-grade alchemist. Kuan Erisher came to the front of the arena. Looking at the strength displayed by the other party, he could not help but frown.
What?
That old man is a 6th-grade alchemist. Li Yun did not believe these words when she heard them. However, when she heard Kuan Erisher say this, she was immediately shocked. 6th-grade alchemist. Wasn't that in existence like a legend? Although Boss is also a 6th-grade alchemist, but under the situation of the same level, it is very difficult to crush the other party. Kuan Erisher said in a dignified tone. These words made Li Yun's heart even more uneasy. Chapter 804. On the field, Li Zongjiu had been looking for something for a long time. When Li Zongjiu's face showed an expression of finding something, the Qianquan Pill Saint on the opposite side had already refined nearly 1/10 of the iron elemental root in his hand. When the Qianquan Pill Saint looked at Li Zongjiu on the opposite side, there was also a hint of ridicule in his eyes. He would let Li Zongjiu know how powerful he was. If he wanted to be an enemy of the Qianquan Pill Saint, then he was not qualified yet. I finally found it. Li Zongjiu breathed a sigh of relief. After all, this thing was rare. Although it was not very precious, it was not something that could be found easily. Desolate grass. Kuan Erisher saw Li Zongjiu take out the desolate grass. Suddenly, he frowned. He did not know why Li Zongjiu took out the desolate grass. Although this thing was powerful, very few people could understand how to use it. Even old Mo's eyes had a hint of ridicule. They even thought that Li Zongjiu was just trying to please the crowd. Li Zongjiu was almost done, but he still hadn't started yet. Could it be that he was going to catch up now? The Qianquan Pill Saint was also a 6th-grade alchemist. If he wanted to catch up, it would not be an easy task. Boom. Li Zongjiu's palms were also jumping with flames, and this flame also directly formed a medicinal cauldron. With the appearance of this fire cauldron, everyone was also amazed by Li Zongjiu's strength. There was really nothing to say about his control of this flame. The formation of a medicinal cauldron itself was about integrating into one, and the Tao was naturally formed. That was why this fire cauldron could have an effect. Otherwise, it would be useless if you only cultivated the shape of the latter without any consciousness inside. What is he going to do? Wu Qingfeng and the others were also watching the battle between the two peak powers. With the identity of both of them, they were both 6th grade alchemists, so in this dark horse pill assembly, it was definitely a peak confrontation. But who knew that this confrontation would actually start in advance? Even Wu Qingfeng did not know what Li Zongjiu was going to do. Wu Qingfeng originally thought that Li Zongjiu had broken through the realm of the 6th grade alchemist, but that was only because Li Zongjiu's talent was good and even reached an extremely amazing level. However, in terms of experience, it was impossible to be perfect. However, when they saw Li Zongjiu's move, they were unable to understand it. They really realized that Li might have other means. Li Zongjiu directly extracted a wisp of desolate energy from the desolate grass. Then, using this desolate energy as a fire guide, he directly integrated this energy into the iron elemental root. Immediately, people could see that the iron elemental root had begun to gradually peel off. The iron elemental root, which did not have the slightest change under the flame, actually showed a trace of spontaneous combustion. From this moment on, people could see that the iron elemental root was constantly being corroded by the desolate energy. With the injection of the flame, people could also see that the iron elemental root was being smelted by the iron elemental liquid. Li Zongjiu caught the iron elemental liquid with a ball of flame. Without the help of other things, the iron elemental liquid was very easy to cool down. Therefore, the iron elemental liquid needed to be protected by the flame. However, when the iron elemental liquid appeared in Li Zongjiu's hand, the people below seemed to have their mouths wide open, and their eyes were wide open. Fuck, this is transparent iron elemental liquid. Kun Erasher was the first to exclaim. His expression was very exaggerated, and he could not believe that it could be done to this extent. Transparent iron elemental liquid, this was an extremely precious existence in the market. There were even some blacksmiths who liked this iron elemental liquid the most. A good iron elemental liquid could even increase the power of their weapons by another 3 times. Therefore, this transparent iron elemental liquid was very difficult to find. High-level alchemists had the ability to do this, but they would not waste time and energy to do this kind of thing. Impossible. When the Qianquan pill saint saw the iron elemental liquid in Li Zongjiu's hand, his eyes were filled with disbelief. Li Zongjiu obviously dawdled for half a day before starting to refine. How could he be faster than him? Soon, the iron elemental root in Li Zongjiu's hand was easily refined, and all of it turned into the transparent iron elemental liquid, which appeared in a flowing flame bottle in Li Zongjiu's hand. The flame bottle was constantly rolling with a flame storm, which maintained the iron elemental liquid's original state. How long will he take? Do I have to continue waiting for him? Li Zongjiu retracted his hand, and the flame bottle automatically floated in front of Li Zongjiu. The power displayed by the bottle made everyone gasp in amazement. He finished refining so quickly? It didn't take more than 10 minutes. Almost as soon as the great desolation power poured into the iron elemental root, the refining process was completed. In the eyes of these people, it was simply unbelievable. This is impossible. You cheated. The Qianquan pill saint immediately pointed at Li Zongjiu and said, until now, he had only refined a third of it. He still needed a lot of time before he could completely refine it. However, Li Zongjiu had started later than him. In such a short period of time, he had already refined this extremely difficult to refine origin iron root. Are you an idiot? Do I need to cheat? Li Zongjiu looked at the Qianquan pill saint and said indifferently. You broke the rules and used the medicinal herbs to refine the iron elemental root, not completely refining it. The Qinquan pill saint remembered what medicinal herbs Li Zongjiu had used, which was why he was able to refine the iron elemental root so quickly. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, how could he compare to him? There's such a rule? Li Zongjiu was immediately surprised as he looked at the Qinquan pill saint. The Qinquan pill saint seemed to have grasped Li Zongjiu's weakness. I dare to conclude that the iron elemental liquid in this child's hand is definitely just an illusion, and not the real iron elemental liquid. The Qinquan pill saint seemed to have exposed Li Zongjiu's conspiracy, and the more he spoke, the more excited he became. This was because the method used by Li Zongjiu was almost unheard of, and no one had ever seen it before. Therefore, the iron elemental liquid in his hand must only have the shape, but in reality, it did not have the effect of the iron elemental liquid here. Then give it a try. As soon as Li Zongjiu's voice fell, he directly stretched out his hand and waved it, throwing out the fire bottle in his hand. The transparent iron elemental liquid whistled out of the fire bottle and directly rushed towards the Qinquan pill saint.
What?
The Qinquan pill saint was shocked. Chapter 805. Along with the terrifying fluctuation, the Saint Pill Saint elixir roared. He immediately felt the extremely ferocious power within it. This was the newly refined iron origin liquid. Once this iron yuan liquid came into contact with one's body, it would definitely burn the person to ashes. The power of this iron yuan liquid was even more terrifying than the flames of a grade 6 alchemist. However, there was not much time left for the Qinquan pill saint. Immediately, he saw the terrifying power coming towards him. Boom! The Qinquan pill saint also did not hesitate to unleash his aura. At the same time, the Qinquan sacred flame in his hand turned into a flame curtain, blocking in front of him like a terrifying waterfall. The iron origin liquid that Li Zongjiu threw out also had an extremely terrifying penetrating power. It easily broke through. The iron origin liquid easily pierced through the Qinquan sacred flame. At this moment, the Qinquan pill saint also understood that the iron origin liquid refined by Li Zongjiu was absolutely genuine. Otherwise, how could it easily break through his Qinquan sacred flame? Not good. In the eyes of the Qinquan pill saint, the iron origin liquid in front of him seemed to have grown eyes. It directly spun in a circle and swept towards the back of the Qinquan pill saint. The Qinquan pill saint was in his own fire circle, constantly trembling with this power. Go for me. The Qinquan pill saint's hands suddenly pushed forward. The Qinquan sacred flame formed a powerful flame wall. However, this power had no effect in front of Li Zongjiu's iron origin liquid.
Qi.
An extremely terrifying temperature was released, and immediately, the sacred flame wall in front of him was directly destroyed. No! Looking at the iron yuan liquid splashing on his body, the Qinquan pill saint immediately screamed. The pain and fear he felt at this moment was the clearest thing he had ever felt in his life. The flame curtain dispersed. Everyone saw an extremely horrifying scene. They saw that half of the Qinquan pill saint's body had already turned into white bones, and the bones were also being corroded by the flame. Although the Qinquan pill saint did not have time to die, there was no chance for him to recover.
Qi.
Qinquan pill saint, who only had one leg left, finally fell to the ground helplessly and was directly corroded by the iron origin liquid. Even the storage ring was melted by the Qinquan pill saint. Everyone present was deeply shocked. This Qinquan pill saint was at least a 6th grade alchemist. Now, he actually killed him just like that. That was too careless. It was not easy for the Heaven and Earth Dan saint to cultivate to the 6th tier alchemist realm. Now, he wanted to display his strength so that he could gain a good reputation in this kind of dark horse pill assembly and make a name for himself. However, he had never expected that he would be killed by the iron essence liquid. Looks like my iron essence liquid is real, Li Zongjiu said calmly. It was as if he had done all this just to test the authenticity of his iron essence liquid. After verifying that the iron essence liquid was real, the pile of iron essence liquid had already fallen to the ground and solidified again. It could be said that there was no effect. If he wanted to refine it again, it would take a lot of effort. When Li Zhongjie was refining the iron yuan root, although he said that he had added medicinal ingredients, it was no longer important whether this kind of action violated the rules or not. That Heaven and Earth Dan Saint had been directly killed. Was there a need for you to continue investigating? It was also very likely that he would offend Li Zhongjie directly. At present, this Li Zhongjie did not seem to be such a generous person. He could directly retaliate at any time. The notary also raised his head and glanced at the top of the pavilion. The person above nodded. In the end, it was judged that Li Zhongjie was the winner and successfully defended the arena once. The opponents that Li Zhongjie challenged were all very strong. For example, the Scarlet Cloud Fire Demon and the Qianquan Pill Saint of the Scarlet Cloud Five Saints. Everyone also deeply remembered this young man in front of them. He was decisive in killing, and did not put these rules in his eyes. Therefore, if they were to encounter this Li Zhongjie in the future, they must be careful. This brat, you must not be his enemy. Li Zhongjie glanced at the crowd and quickly caught sight of a figure who was looking at him with a gaze of extreme hatred. The corner of his mouth could not help but raise. Li Zhongjie felt that the style of the Scarlet Cloud Five Saints was none of his business. However, if you wanted to provoke Li Zhongjie, then sorry, Li Zhongjie could only do things according to his own style. Li Zhongjie signaled Tian Fei with his eyes. Tian Fei also understood Li Zhongjie's intention and quickly headed towards that figure. This person was also one of the Scarlet Cloud Five Saints. The Qianquan Pill Saint was killed by Li Zhongjie, so these people naturally had to find a way to take revenge. This person had not revealed his identity until now, but Li Zhongjie's gaze just now made him feel uneasy in his heart. It seemed that Li Zhongjie had already discovered them. Immediately, his figure also quickly walked out of the venue. The first day was almost over. Li Zhongjie came in front of Li Yun and the others. Kuan Erisher could only give Li Zhongjie a thumbs up. After all, Li Zhongjie's strength was indeed too terrifying. That was a sixth-grade alchemist, and he actually killed him directly. Who could say that they killed a sixth-grade alchemist? Then they killed a sixth-grade alchemist. This was an extremely inconceivable thing, and even this ordinary person would not dare to do so. Li Zhongjie did it. You? How could you just kill him? That's too cruel. Li Yun was also a little surprised by Li Zhongjie's actions. After all, this Li Zhongjie killed a sixth-grade alchemist. Wasn't this sixth-grade alchemist very valuable? In the end, he actually killed one on the spot. However, Li Yun also thought that this old thing deserved to die. Since he could become the enemy of the Li family, then there was no need to sympathize with an enemy. That was a very stupid act. I accidentally killed him, Li Zhongjie said innocently, but no one would believe this Li Zhongjie's nonsense. Where did Tian Fei go? Li Yun saw that Tian Fei left directly. He went to the toilet, Li Zhongjie said lightly. The battle just now also made many people put their eyes on Li Zhongjie. Even when Li Zhongjie passed by in front of these people, they all looked at him in awe. That old Mo did not dare to challenge Li Zhongjie at all. Who knew that this kid was so fierce? Previously, in the inn, he had already displayed his invincible might once. After that, he consecutively defeated the famous experts in the Qian region. Such strength naturally caused old Mo to feel fearful. It's about time for today.
Let's go out and rest first.
Li Zhongjie glanced at the situation at the scene. Most of the people had already stopped and returned to their senses. Because they directly lost, there was no way to continue. Under the respectful gaze of the crowd, Li Zhongjie and the others also directly left the Black Horse Square. However, there were also quite a few people who looked at the departing Li Zhongjie as if they were toying with their prey. This person is the reinforcements that the 100 Medicine Pavilion invited. Chapter 806. In a tall building outside the Black Horse Square, a few people were sitting in front of the window. One of them was leaning on a rocking bench, holding a handful of melon seeds and eating them. The other two were holding binoculars, looking at Li Zongjie with great interest. Then, the camera turned and focused on Li Yun. This young lady looks quite interesting. You only know how to look at other people's girls. Study her carefully. This Li Zongjie is a real strong enemy, a girl said at the side. While she was talking, she was also using the same file to rub her fingernails. After that, she even blew on her fingernails. No matter how strong Li Zongjie is, he is just one person. He can't go to heaven. In front of us, this kid can only die. The person lying on the rattan chair was flipping through a book of herbs. The three of them were about the same age. 2 men and 1 woman. Looking at the clothes of these 3 people, it was very obvious that these 3 people should be from the same family. The price that the 10,000 spirits immortal shop paid this time is not low. It seems that they are determined to get the right to collect herbs. It's just a land of spiritual herbs. What's there to think about? For such a small thing, they are fighting to the death. The girl seemed to feel uncomfortable sitting there. She put her slender legs on the tea table, and at the same time, she was painting her fingernails with some strange colors. Dong Xiaobai, you don't have to be so exaggerated. What's the point of painting these strange things on your fingernails? It doesn't look good at all. The man who was standing looked back and saw the girl's actions. He couldn't help but say with disdain. As the most orthodox of men, he couldn't understand this strange behavior. Why would someone like to do this? It was really puzzling. Sometimes, the 5 fingernails on the same hand were all different colors. It was even more unbelievable. What do you know? Dong Xiaobai couldn't be bothered to care about the opinions of these uncouth fellows. Hey, Eastern Cold Mountain. You can handle this brat, right? I don't want to face such a boorish person. As for the others, only that guy from the 10 prescriptions medicine hall is worthy of my attention. I don't know where this Li Zongjie came from, but he's so powerful even though he's just an amateur. Eastern Frost Mountain was also the person lying on the rattan chair. It's nothing, Dong Han said plainly. Then, he looked at Dong Yongbai who was holding the binoculars and said, Hey, you've been watching for so long. Have you seen enough? Hurry up and order some food. I'm starving to death. I just want to take a look at that big sister, Dong Yongbai said. Then, the binoculars in his hand kept rotating, trying to find Li Yun.
Swish. Boom.
A whistling sound was heard. Dong Yongbai instantly sensed danger and quickly let go of the binoculars. However, that overbearing force had already blasted the binoculars in his hand. In an instant, the binoculars were torn to pieces. At the same time, a hidden force rushed toward Dong Yongbai's eyes. However, Dong Yongbai didn't dodge. Instead, his eyes seemed to surge with flames. Immediately, the hidden force in front of him was completely burned away. What a guy! Dong Yongbai took a step back. There was a wound on his palm, which was caused by the broken binoculars. Haha, you've suffered a loss, haven't you? Dong Han looked at Dong Yongbai's angry face and immediately laughed out loud. Dong Yongbai's expression was naturally very ugly. There was no need to think to know who attacked him. It was obviously a warning from Li Zongjie. Unfortunately, Li Zongjie warned the wrong person. I haven't come to find you yet, but you've come to teach me a lesson first. Very well. I'd like to see how much skill you have. Dong Yongbai's face was full of displeasure. This was just an alchemist from the secular world. He only had some talent, but now he dared to take the initiative to provoke him. This was an extreme provocation for Dong Yongbai. Haha, I didn't expect that the 3rd young master of the dignified Eastern Medicine clan would be teased by this secular person. Eastern Frost Mountain and the others were very gloating. Although they were teasing each other, the move just now did have some experience, which made Dong Yongbai very surprised. However, he naturally couldn't say it out loud. Li Zongjie had long known that someone was spying on them. Originally, he didn't want to pay attention to it. After all, it was just some idiot from a big family. However, who knew that under such circumstances, they dared to do it again and again. This was a bit too much, so he gave them a warning. They found an inn in this Black Horse town. The organizer was quite stingy. They didn't even arrange accommodation for them. The main reason was that these alchemists who came to participate in the competition, although they didn't have any big backing behind them, each of them had a bad temper. It was difficult to appease everyone, so they simply canceled the accommodations. The three of them sat in front of the table. After a while, Tian Fei also came in from outside the room and sat down as if nothing had happened. On the way here, I found these tails, so I also cleaned them up. Tian Fei took out a blood-stained plate in his hand. The patterns on the plate were complicated, so it was hard to tell what it was. However, the back of the plate was engraved with the words Ardent Earth Sect. Didn't you go to the outhouse? You met them in the outhouse? Li Yun said in surprise. Ardent Earth Sect, this name sounded a little familiar. After thinking about it carefully, he recalled that yesterday, he seemed to have encountered some elite disciples of Ardent Earth Sect. After that, a few of them fought with each other, and even beat them up. In the blink of an eye, he actually saw the people of Ardent Earth Sect again. Something like that, Tian Fei said awkwardly. In fact, Tian Fei also went to deal with one of the 5 Crimson Cloud Saints who had a grudge against him. As for who that person was, he didn't know. Anyway, he had already died under Tian Fei's sword. These guys are really troublesome. You two go around and catch their boss for me. Li Zhongjiu frowned. He hadn't come to find trouble with them, but they came to find him first. This made Li Zhongjiu a little angry. Tian Fei and Kuan Erisher also stood up. Previously, Kuan Erisher and Tian Fei had some conflicts. Now that they were fighting side by side, there was a different feeling. Even Kuan Erisher had a trace of competition. They were all of the same age. Good, I also want to see how big the gap is between me and the elite disciples of the top sects in this continent, Kuan Erisher said. Although the content was modest, the tone was unusually proud. Tian Fei also slightly nodded. I will let you know. Chapter 807. When Li Zhongjiu had just been reborn, he was very low-key. Li Zhongjiu rarely took the initiative to provoke other forces. He would wait until these people came knocking on his door, and Li Zhongjiu was forced to fight back. But now it was different. With Li Zhongjiu's current strength, he did not need to be low-key anymore. Just like the Xianyuan sect that came to him. So what if you are arrogant and overbearing? As long as you dare to come, I will cripple you. Originally, Li Zhongjiu planned to go to the Xianyuan sect directly. Later, the people of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion came to him and mediated this matter. So, Li Zhongjiu did not pursue this matter for the time being. But if these people did not know the difference between life and death, then they would not have the chance to regret it in front of Li Zhongjiu. Just like with the Ardent Earth sect. Really, a dog cannot change its habit of eating shit. They did not even weigh their own weight and dared to provoke Li Zhongjiu. What kind of tail did they have? They were useless in front of Li Zhongjiu. Li Yun was not clear about the enmity between the Ardent Earth sect and Li Zhongjiu. But she thought that it should not be a powerful character. Anyway, as long as Li Zhongjiu was here, there would not be any problems. Li Zhongjiu did not receive any response from Tian Fei, but someone came to him immediately. Huimei, who had been watching Li Zhongjiu, knew that this was a rare opportunity when he saw Tian Fei and Kuan Erisher leave. As for the other woman, if he was not mistaken, she should be a trash who only knew how to talk. As for Li Zhongjiu, although he had some strength, the Ardent Earth sect had also come prepared. It was impossible for them to not be able to deal with an expert like him. It was a very simple task to specifically target this kind of expert who was separated from the group. Surround this inn, Huimei ordered. Immediately, more than 10 elite disciples rushed out from behind. The huge formation directly sent the diners, who were still eating, flying with a kick. Get out if you don't want to die. Those who had eyes could immediately see that these were the people of the Ardent Earth sect. Not far away, they were the sect of the Ardent Earth sect, who in the Black Horse town did not know the strength of the Ardent Earth sect's people. They immediately ran away. Brat, you've got guts to come here alone. Since you've come to our Ardent Earth sect's territory, we should do our part as hosts. On Huimei's face, there was a look of a villain intoxicated by success. Li Yun glanced around and saw a total of 16 Ardent Earth sect disciples. They're going to set up a formation, Li Yun immediately whispered. When Li Zongjio heard Li Yun's words, he looked directly at Li Yun and ignored the others. Why are you staring at me? Li Yun looked at Li Zongjio's strange behavior and felt quite strange. At this time, Li Zongjio never felt nervous. Facing a big sect, the most difficult thing to deal with was these people's formations. They were very good at it. Moreover, these people usually cultivated together. Once they formed a formation, the power they possessed would be extremely terrifying. It was simply unimaginable. You can see what kind of formation it is. Li Zongjio curiously looked at Li Yun. Li Yun felt the pressure and began to quickly observe the formation of these people. Soon, she found that these people's formation was very strange. However, Li Yun quickly determined the formation of these people based on some clues around them. Scorching Een Gale Formation. I once saw an introduction to this kind of formation in a miscellaneous book. Within this Scorching Een Gale Formation, everything will be destroyed. Not even bones will be left. When Li Yun mentioned this array formation, she was also shocked in her heart. I remember now. The Scorching Sun sect originated from this kind of formation. Li Yun immediately exclaimed, "Looks like your talent in formations is not bad." Li Zongjio obviously couldn't see what kind of formation these people were setting up. He didn't need to observe these things at all. You can set it up as you wish. I'll just sit here and give you enough time to prepare. You can set it up as you please. In any case, Li Zongjio would be able to break it easily in the end. No matter how powerful your formation is, it can't be as powerful as the people in Qing Yuan Manor. Not bad, my ass. This Scorching Een Gale formation is specialized in restraining all kinds of attributes. Either we rush out now, or we'll be finished when the formation is completed. Are we still going to sit here? Why don't you cover me, and I'll escape first? Li Yun said. Because she understood formations, she was very clear about the power of this formation and felt a deep respect for it. What Huamei needed was Li Yun's respect. If you want to leave, I'm afraid you won't have the chance. Since you know this formation, feel it well. Start the formation. Under Huamei's command, the surrounding disciples of the Ardent Earth sect immediately released their Yuan force. The few of them connected with each other.
Boom.
A gust of chilly wind rose from the ground. This gust of wind was like a knife, easily flashing in front of them. In an instant, it directly slashed towards Li Zongjio and Huamei. Seeing these wind blades coming towards them, Li Yun quickly said, "These wind blades are endless. We must find a gap in this storm. Otherwise, we will be continuously pierced by these wind blades, just like 1,000 arrows piercing through our hearts." Just as she finished speaking, Li Zongjio's hand had already reached out of the formation with a swoosh. He directly grabbed a disciple of the Ardent Earth sect and threw him in front of him.
Ah!
Countless wind blades directly slashed the disciple of the Ardent Earth sect into a porcupine. Puff, puff, puff. He could clearly feel the pain as he listened to the waves of energy shuttling through his body. Even his bones were broken within his body. His entire body was paralyzed as he lay dead on the ground. Li Zongjio then grabbed Li Yun. After all, there were too many dangers in the surroundings. If he didn't protect Li Yun well, he would probably be slashed into two halves. The number of people who had set up the array was decreasing one after another. When the number of people was reduced to 5, the array formation directly collapsed. When the formation disappeared, there were already 11 corpses left on the ground.
What?
Huamei never imagined how Li Zongjio did it. Just as Huamei was in a daze, Li Zongjio's figure flashed and appeared in front of Huamei. "I see that your eyebrows are quite unique. I wonder what they will look like when they are burned." Li Zongjio flicked his finger, and a flame burned Huamei's eyebrows. Chapter 808. Huamei never thought that his eyebrows would be burned on the spot at such an old age. Let go of Protector Huamei. The remaining disciples saw that Huamei was directly held hostage by Li Zongjio and quickly said. However, when they saw the corpses on the ground, they hesitated and did not dare to go forward. They only dared to stand at a distance and call for help, but they were reluctant to go forward. Once they went forward and were accidentally killed by Li Zhongjie, wouldn't it be a great loss? I'll give you a chance to leave, otherwise I don't mind killing a few more. Li Zhongjie glanced at the 5 disciples who were still alive in front of him. My Ardent Earth Sect's disciples are not cowards who are afraid of death. Hua Mei's eyebrows were burned, and he was incomparably humiliated. He angrily rebuked Li Zhongjie, but now his neck was in Li Zhongjie's hands. When he spoke, his saliva almost sprayed on Li Zhongjie's face. Don't worry, Protector. We'll go and find the Vice Sect leader. Yes, Protector, you must hold on. Immediately, the 5 disciples turned around and directly jumped out of the inn's window.
Bang! Bang!
Because the door was blocked by Li Zhongjie, these people did not hesitate to jump out of the window to escape. Seeing these disciples flee, it was a huge blow to Hua Mei. This was a huge blow to Hua Mei. He never thought that he would do such a thing. Just a moment ago, he said that the disciples of the Ardent Earth Sect would never run away. In the blink of an eye, all of them had run away. Li Zhongjie, don't be arrogant. I don't believe that you dare to kill me. Hua Mei immediately straightened his chest, as if he was waiting to see if Li Zhongjie dared to kill him. Crack! Li Zhongjie directly took action and forcefully crushed Hua Mei's throat. Under Li Zhongjie's control, Hua Mei had no way to mobilize his yuan force, so he was like a lamb in Li Zhongjie's hand. The last sentence just now became Hua Mei's last words. He casually tossed the corpse onto the ground. How dare he make a bet with Li Zhongjie? He was truly reckless. There were quite a few people who were secretly watching the scene. When they saw Li Zhongjie killing a protector of the Ardent Earth Sect without the slightest hesitation and effortlessly killing a protector of the Ardent Earth Sect, as well as a dozen disciples lying on the ground, a storm rose in their hearts. Such a scene was indeed extremely spectacular. What a terrifying person, this guy. He must have a very strong background. Damn, that's the protector of Earth Sect. Someone cried out in surprise. Moreover, Li Zhongjie did not seem to see these people as human lives. Who would dare to sit down and have a meal with such a terrifying person who killed people like scything flax? Naturally, all of them quietly slipped away. You killed so many people. Li Yun saw so many corpses lying on the ground and could not help but feel a little scared. However, her psychological quality was not bad, so she quickly calmed down. These people wanted to kill us. This world is lacking in many things, but there are too many people who deserve to die. Li Zhongjie said indifferently. Since they had provoked Li Zhongjie, then they could only wait for death. In his previous life, Li Zhongjie had experienced many life and death situations and had seen many tragic scenes. Therefore, sympathy was the most worthless thing. Li Zhongjie had long forgotten about sympathy, and only his own heart had persisted until now. That's true. Li Yun also kicked Hua Mei's body, causing him to roll a few times on the ground. This is for you.
See how much you can understand.
Li Zhongjie gave Li Yun a tattered and old book. Li Yun curiously took the book. After flipping to a page, her eyes could not leave the book. This is an encyclopedia of array formations. It's so detailed, such a detailed array formation book. Li Yun said excitedly, as if she had found a treasure. This book was also stolen from the underground black market of the Sacred Flame Royal City. If she did not remember wrongly, it should be there. It's good that you can read it. Li Zhongjie looked at Li Yun's interested expression and knew that Li Yun might have an extraordinary understanding of array formations. If she had talent in this area, then perhaps she could be nurtured into an array formation genius. This was also a very good thing for the Li family. Li Zhongjie was not very proficient in array formations in his previous life. If Li Yun was really interested, then he would help Li Yun find a good teacher. In this world, only Li Zhongjie was so confident. Array formation masters all had strange tempers, but they were all of high status. If they were given enough time and energy, they would not have a problem fighting against 100 people. Therefore, array formation masters were extremely precious resources. If they were powerful, it would be even more important if they wanted to take in a disciple. However, since Li Zhongjiu thought so, then he must have his own way. As long as Li Zhongjiu wanted something, then there was basically nothing that could not be done. If this person was not willing to teach, then Li Zhongjiu would not mind chopping off his head. In this world, other than strength, the most important thing was one's fists. That these corpses, the inn's shopkeeper walked out with his hands raised. He looked at Li Zhongjiu and the corpses in front of him. You can clean them up. Li Zhongjiu casually threw out a few purple yuan coins. Just these few purple yuan coins were enough to cover the inn's income for a few months. The shopkeeper immediately ordered his subordinates to move the corpses to the back courtyard. After all, he still needed to do business here. If someone died in an accident, it wouldn't be his inn's responsibility. Therefore, he didn't care about this.
There was no inn that did not have people dying.
If there were no deaths in this inn, then it was not a good inn. Who knows, if a powerful person suddenly died in your inn, then your inn would become popular all of a sudden. Boss, we're back. Kun Erasher and Tian Fei also stepped into the inn. They just happened to see the inn's waiter cleaning up the bloodstains on the ground. When they saw that there was no one in the inn, they immediately guessed that there were people here. They were really reckless. Kun Erasher knew about Li Zhongjiu's strength. If they met Li Zhongjiu, then there was basically no way for them to live peacefully. Being able to die a quick death was already a very fortunate thing. Tian Fei was carrying a person with a bloody nose and a swollen face. His body was full of wounds and blood. Even now, he was already in a semi-conscious state. Chapter 809. There's someone here too? Kun Erasher was obviously a little surprised. However, this mission was really not simple. It took a lot of effort to capture this guy. You guys are really something. You only have so few people, yet you still split them up. How interesting. Kun Erasher used a basin of water to wake the person in front of him up. Tian Fei did not say much. After all, Tian Fei's identity was different from Kun Erasher's. Tian Fei was only a subordinate of Li Zhongjiu. As the deputy sect master of Ardent Earth Sect, Xing Qianqiu had seen too many situations. Xing Qianqiu didn't even know how many things he had to deal with. Many troublesome problems were easily solved by him. Therefore, Xing Qianqiu was very confident in his ability. Even though the sect master had given him the mission to get rid of Li Zhongjiu, Xing Qianqiu felt that it was a very simple matter. However, he did not expect that two young men would actually kill their way to his residence today. Given the strength of Ardent Earth Sect, it was very normal for them to set up a branch hall in Black Horse Town. Xing Qianqiu was naturally disdainful when he saw the two youths charging towards him. These days, there were too many people who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Therefore, Xing Qianqiu didn't put the two youths in his eyes. He ordered his men to capture them and torture them before interrogating them. Who knew that these two young men would start a massacre as soon as they rushed into the courtyard? These so-called elite disciples of Ardent Earth Sect were like a pile of tofu in front of these two young men. They were directly knocked to the ground, and a large number of them were knocked down. After that, when Xing Qianqiu reacted, he was already beaten up by these two young men. Xing Qianqiu was also a Yuan monarch elite. More or less, Xing Qianqiu had some status in the Zhonghu. But now that he had been plotted against and reduced to such a state, Xing Qianqiu was even more furious and displeased. He immediately glared at the people in front of him. How dare you plot against me? Do you know who I am? Xing Qianqiu immediately stood up. However, he discovered that there were no signs of him being tied up. These people actually allowed him to move freely, without any restrictions. However, when Xing Qianqiu saw the corpse lying on the floor in front of him, his eyes widened. This was a corpse that hadn't been cleaned up yet. This corpse was none other than Protector Huamei. Although Protector Huamei's eyebrows had been burned off, one could still tell that the person in front of them was Protector Huamei. How dare you kill Huamei? Xing Qianqiu's eyes widened as he stared at Li Zhongjiu and the people around him. He couldn't believe it. Could it be that these youngsters had already reached such a level of lawlessness? After all, this was the Black Horse Town and the headquarters of the Arden Earth sect was not far away. Could it be that these people did not want to live anymore? You are digging your own graves. How dare you touch the protector of the Ardent Earth sect? In less than a day, the Ardent Earth sect will come out in full force and kill all of you. Xing Qianqiu roared in a low voice. His words were very intimidating. If it was someone who was inexperienced in the underworld, they might have to be a little cautious. Where is your sect? Li Zongjiu asked directly. Since your Ardent Earth sect is so arrogant, I will go to your sect and take a look, Li Zongjiu said indifferently. If Li Zongjiu said such words to any sect in his previous life, the people of that sect would be disheartened, because it meant that a big trouble was coming. When the evil lord came, they would either lose money or die. Therefore, they must prepare enough money to settle this matter. If they did not have enough money, then they could only wait for death. The evil lord was not here to have tea and talk about Tao. When the time was up, if they did not have enough money, then they would kill those who should be killed.
What?
Xing Qianqiu was also wondering if he had heard wrongly, or if he was dreaming. How could such a thing happen? Just who were these people? They actually wanted to visit the Ardent Earth sect for a visit? Of course, this meant that they were going to cause trouble in the Ardent Earth sect. There were very few enemies who dared to barge into the enemy's headquarters alone. Wasn't this equivalent to suicide? In Xing Qianqiu's long life, he had never encountered such a situation. For Xing Qianqiu, his brain seemed to be unable to process this. However, since these people had such a stupid idea, of course, he could not just rush over like that. Then, Xing Qianqiu sneered. All right, since you want to die so much, then I will fulfill your wish. If you have the ability, then come after me. Xing Qianqiu wanted to see if these people had set up any traps in the surroundings. He immediately jumped up and rushed towards the ceiling of the inn. He directly rushed out of the roof. Whoosh! Xing Qianqiu leaped up and realized that he was not restrained in the slightest. After his figure rushed out of the inn, he immediately felt as though he had escaped from a sea of suffering. He even felt that these young people were really too unprofessional. After capturing the person, they did not take any precautions and escaped so easily. However, Xing Qianqiu was happy too early. When Xing Qianqiu jumped up, a roar suddenly came from the sky. When he looked up, a huge black shadow appeared above his head. When he saw the thing above his head, it was as if a huge shadow of death was shrouding Xing Qianqiu. Xing Qianqiu instantly froze on the spot. Fuck, why don't you fly forward? Li Zongjiu and the others appeared on the Qilin battleship and looked at Xing Qianqiu below. Although Xing Qianqiu was flying at a higher altitude, the Qilin battleship easily surpassed Xing Qianqiu. After all, Xing Qianqiu was a Yuan monarch elite and was confident in his ability to escape. He was able to escape the pursuit of these young people. When he immediately escaped, he realized that the Qilin battleship was following closely behind him. Even under the huge pressure, Xing Qianqiu felt the fear of being chased by a huge beast. He was gradually shocked. Damn it! Along the way, Xing Qianqiu's figure directly chased into the distance. He did not know how much pressure he was under as he ran frantically. Finally, a towering mountain peak appeared in front of him. There seemed to be an extremely powerful force around the mountain peak, warning the surroundings. Even a flock of birds and beasts did not dare to come close. Wait for your death, you trash. Xing Qianqiu's eyes emitted a cold light. Chapter 810. Li Zongjiu stood on the Qilin battleship and saw a sect appear in front of him. On top of the mountain, there were layers upon layers of tall buildings. They slowly appeared in front of him, overlapping with each other. It was a magnificent sight. Since you're here, let's greet them. Li Zongjiu gestured to Li Yun. At first, Li Yun did not understand what he meant. However, when she saw Li Zongjiu adjusting the cannon, she understood. Immediately, Li Yun adjusted the energy cannons in the Qilin battleship. Some of the Ardent Earth sect disciples who were still in the sect lifted their heads to look at the Qilin battleship. The appearance of such a huge battleship piqued their curiosity. Who was that? How dare he drive a battleship to our sect? Our sect has a space prohibiting array. Is this guy here to provoke our sect? Within 1,000 miles, no other sect dares to go against us. These people are obviously here to die. How dare they not know the rules? We'll blast them down sooner or later. That's right. I wonder where this country bumpkin came from. Obviously, these Ardent Earth sect disciples had a strong sense of honor. When they saw the Chilean battleship, they were extremely xenophobic. After all, these people thought that the Chilean battleship was too arrogant. Even Xing Qianqiu sneered in his heart. But then, he suddenly heard a loud boom above his head.
Boom.
A terrifying sound vibrated out. It was as if the airwaves in the sky had been blown away. He could see a bright light wave rushing towards the sect's elders' hall at an incomparably fast speed. This was a sleeping chamber specially for the elders to rest. Boom. A hall that was almost 7 stories high was instantly smashed into pieces. The edge of the hall also directly rumbled a few times before it collapsed. It was like a real landslide, and the earth was cracking. As for the disciples of Ardent Earth sect, their jaws dropped when they saw this scene. The elders' hall has collapsed. Fuck, are they here to attack our sect? I never thought that I would encounter something so exciting in my lifetime. Many disciples of the Ardent Earth sect were excited. It was not common for their sect to be attacked. Moreover, the strength of the Ardent Earth sect was not weak. It would not be easy to cover it up. As a disciple of the Ardent Earth sect, it was rare for him to witness such a scene. Therefore, he had mixed feelings about it. However, after the commotion, some people immediately woke up with a start. Fuck, the sect has been attacked. Quick, save the elder. Elders, are you alright? Many elders were resting at this moment. Now that they were suddenly shot through the window by a cannon, it was probably something that ordinary people could imagine. As for those elders who were hit by the cannon, they couldn't believe it. Who would have thought that something like this would happen to them? What's going on? As the vice sect master, Xing Qianqiu seemed to have finally realized what the current situation was. The collapse of the elders' sleeping chamber also caused these disciples to become nervous. Some of the elders were dug out, while others were buried deep underground. There were a total of 50 elders in the Ardent Earth sect, and only a dozen of them crawled out. A group of disciples lifted a large stone slab. He saw an elder and a senior sister hugging each other naked on a bedsheet. However, they were still unconscious. The power of the blast just now was too strong.
Fuck.
Isn't that senior sister Shuilian this? When the disciples saw this scene, they instantly felt as if their world had exploded. His senior sister, who was usually his goddess, had actually appeared in the elder's bed at night.
Boom.
Because of the shock, he loosened his grip, and the stone slab was pressed down again. Shit. The disciples looked at each other. If the stone slab fell down with a bang, it would definitely cause the elder and senior sister to be injured again. Wouldn't that be killing the elder? Immediately, the disciples signaled with their eyes and then pretended to look for other survivors. Immediately, the disciples of the Ardent Earth sect who were responsible for guarding the Chilean battleship rushed towards it. However, there weren't many disciples who could fly in the air. A total of 6 people rushed towards the Chilean battleship first. Isn't that the deputy sect leader? Did the deputy sect leader bring people to attack our sect? When the disciples saw Xing Qianqiu, their eyes widened. They couldn't believe their eyes. There were a lot of strange things that happened tonight. First, the sect was attacked. Now, it was the vice sect master who brought people here. One of them looked a little older, so he was asked to speak. He coughed softly, stepped forward, and shouted at the Chilean battleship. Who are you? Tell me your name. However, there was no response from the Chilean battleship. The cannon on the Chilean battleship was aimed at the formation of the 6 people. Disperse. The young man who was leading the group immediately exclaimed.
Boom.
Another resplendent light emerged. When the 6 disciples sensed the emergence of this intense light, although they dodged quickly, the power of the light still remained in the area.
Boom.
The few of them were immediately blinded and deafened. Although it was only for a short period of time, under such power, it was still unbearable. Xing Qianqiu watched as the cannon on the Qilin battleship aimed at the book depository hall of the Ardent Earth sect. The book depository hall contained the sect's cultivation techniques, and there were even a few top-notch elemental arts. There were even unique copies that couldn't be duplicated. Once duplicated, the imprint of the elemental arts would disappear, which was equivalent to losing the elemental arts. However, all of these didn't exist now. When the guardian elder of the book depository hall sensed the might of this cannon, he immediately leaped forward and charged towards the light cannon. However, this light cannon contained the power of an upper-grade elemental stone. How could it be blocked so easily?
Boom.
The guardian elder was directly blasted into nothingness. The tall, precious, and ancient book depository hall. It was like an incense stick that had been burned out, directly turning into ashes. Chapter 811. They could only watch helplessly as their book depository hall was reduced to a pile of ashes. To them, this was a very solemn place of inheritance. But now it had been reduced to ashes by a single shot from the enemy. This, Xing Qianqiu had long forgotten about the so-called fear when he saw this scene. Only endless confusion remained in his eyes. Xing Qianqiu couldn't have imagined the development of the current situation. You.
Stop it.
Xing Qianqiu roared at the Qilin battleship where Li Zongjiu and the rest were. He stared at the Qilin battleship above and wished he could blast it into pieces. He was the one who had brought this terrifying thing here. Of course, Xing Qianqiu was not worried about the destruction of these sects' holy lands. He was worried that these sects would definitely hold him responsible after this incident. Today, Li Zongjiu, will not kill you. However, if Ardent Earth sect continues to be stubborn, then don't blame me for being impolite. Li Zongjiu shouted in the direction of the people from Ardent Earth sect. Sometimes, it was more effective to beat people until they were scared than to kill them directly. Therefore, after Li Zongjiu used the Qilin battleship to intimidate them, this matter was over. If they continued to be stubborn and wanted to provoke Li Zongjiu, then he would wait for Li Zongjiu to come back and destroy Ardent Earth sect directly. Directly driving the Qilin warship and firing 2 cannons was simply more direct and simple than anything else. Ignoring Xing Qianqiu's incessant shouting below, Li Zongjiu turned around and left in front of Ardent Earth sect. The effect of this demonstration was quite good. These people from Ardent Earth sect had never expected that someone would attack in such a way. The sudden attack was something that the elders and disciples did not expect at all. In fact, they did not even have the slightest inkling of what was going on. Yet, they had already suffered extremely heavy losses. Xing Qianqiu looked at the departing Qilin battleship and Li Zongjiu and the others. Looking at the miserable state of the Ardent Earth sect, Xing Qianqiu felt that this was a hellish torture. Xing Qianqiu even thought of taking advantage of the chaos to leave the sect tonight. Damn it, that damned Li Zongjiu. Except for Li Zongjiu, the rest of the people on the Qilin warship felt like they were in a dream. This deterrence of strength was quite wonderful. Ordinary people would never have thought that there would be such a thing, and it would even succeed. Under normal circumstances, if you were to go alone without any preparation, you would be targeted the moment you stepped into the vicinity of the other party's sect. Then, it wouldn't be a problem for them to deal with you directly. There was simply no chance for him to leave like this. The reason why he was able to achieve today's result was because he was bold. Secondly, the power of the Qilin battleship was indeed too powerful. This time, it was an easy bombardment, and it had already completed its mission. Then, it quickly left. If it had enough energy, it might even be possible to wipe out the Ardent Earth sect today. After thinking about the dangers, Kuan Erashur and the others became excited. Oh my god, this warship is too powerful. Kuan Erashur was also amazed by the Qilin battleship in his hands. He had never seen such a powerful weapon. The Qilin battleship was one of them. It was extremely powerful and intimidating. If their Kuan castle could have a few more of such weapons, then the power of Kuan castle would also increase tremendously. The bombardment just now consumed one upper-grade primordial stone. Li Yun set up the Qilin battleship and was now slowly returning to the Black Horse Town. When he heard Li Yun's words, Kun Arashur was in a bad mood. Just now, 2 primordial stones were directly consumed. Who could afford to consume such a thing? No wonder it was so powerful. However, if the battle continued like this, no matter how rich one's family was, it would be impossible to consume such a huge amount of primordial stones. That's way too expensive. But this is the first time I've ever experienced something like this. Kun Arashur said excitedly. Not only was Kun Arashur excited, but Tianfei also admired Li Zongjiu's courage even though he did not say it out loud. Facing a sect and facing the threat of an ancient emperor expert were 2 completely different levels. However, Li Zongjiu was fearless and directly killed his way out. It was really admirable. Let's go back to the Black Horse Town first. There will be more of such things in the future. Li Zongjiu said slowly. Such a small matter was nothing. Li Zongjiu's battle record in his previous life could be said to be even more glorious. This was just a small lesson and Li Zongjiu didn't even use his full strength. If Li Zongjiu really got serious, then the Ardent Earth sect would be doomed. Li Yun also looked at Li Zongjiu, who was sitting quietly. She realized that she did not understand her brother at all. However, this did not prevent Li Yun from admiring and trusting Li Zongjiu. It was Li Yun's first time piloting the Qilin battleship to battle. If they could not escape just now, then it would be destroyed by Ardent Earth sect. As the captain of the ship, Li Yun naturally could not escape. However, Li Yun did not hesitate to obey Li Zongjiu's orders. This was a big matter of directly attacking a sect. The consequences of provoking an entire sect were very serious. However, with Li Zongjiu around, everything was fine. The 4 of them returned to the Black Horse Town safe and sound. At this moment, in Black Horse Town, those who did not know that Li Zongjiu had already gone to Ardent Earth sect to greet them only knew that Li Zongjiu seemed to have crippled Ardent Earth sect's protector, Huomei. Immediately, Black Horse Town also started a heated discussion about this matter. They were all discussing whether this matter was true or false. It must be fake news. That is Ardent Earth sect. Who doesn't know the name of Ardent Earth sect within 1,000 miles? That's right. The Deputy Sect Master of Ardent Earth sect is an expert of the Yuan King realm. I heard that the Deputy Sect Master of Ardent Earth sect is in Black Horse Town. If anyone dares to spread such a rumor, aren't they afraid that the Deputy Sect Master of Ardent Earth sect will deal with them? How audacious. Someone slammed the board and said. Obviously, he was supporting the Ardent Earth sect. That's not necessarily true. Li Zongjiu is a figure who has made a name for himself in Sacred Flame Royal City. He must not be simple to be able to make a name for himself in Sacred Flame Royal City. I also heard that Li Zongjiu is an honorary elder of Heavenly Elixir Pavilion. Chapter 812. Because of Li Zongjiu's extraordinary performance in the Black Horse Square during the day, there were many people who paid attention to this Li Zongjiu afterwards. News about this Li Zongjiu suddenly spread all over the sky. It made it so that no one could tell what was real and what was fake. On the contrary, Li Zongjiu's reputation gradually rose at this moment. And it was worth mentioning that the 5 Red Flame Saints, 5 great alchemists, were considered an extremely powerful alliance among the rogue cultivators. However, after the death of the Qiankuan Pill Saint, no one else appeared to avenge the death of the Qiankuan Pill Saint. Even the rest of the people had never appeared. Just like that, they disappeared without a trace. This was also the characteristic of these people. Once there was any trouble, they would immediately hide. There was no sense of brotherhood at all. What's more, the strongest Qiankuan Pill Saint was defeated, so what use could these people have? So, after thinking about it, they might as well talk about this matter in the future. It could be seen that the brotherhood between these people was not as deep as imagined. For a time, the topic about this Li Zongjiu also directly swept the entire Black Horse Town. Even in the alchemy circle in the Qian prefecture, most people would clearly know the name of this Li Zongjiu. The lively night did not have much impact on Li Zongjio and the others. After teaching the Ardent Earth sect a lesson, they returned to the inn as usual. First, they had another supper, and then they went to rest. The few of them were all cultivation maniacs. Whenever they had some free time, they would spend it on cultivation. Li Yun's usual training was considered to be more diligent, but for this Li Yun, the usual training was soulless. It was just to become stronger and train here. But this time was different, when she held the incomplete book in her hand. Li Yun originally wanted to sleep early, but in the end, holding the book in her hand, she couldn't sleep at all. For ordinary people, the content could be said to be very obscure and difficult to understand, but Li Yun was reading it with great interest at this moment. Obviously, this Li Yun also had her own talent in comprehending this array. The second day, Li Zongjio also recited the white god Fu once in the night, and at the same time, he also tempered his blood soul hell. Basically, this was what he had to do every day. Although his strength had made a breakthrough now, he couldn't be arrogant. He had to continue to maintain this state. After all, the enemies in the future would only get stronger. The reason why such a Black Horse Alchemy gathering came to this gathering was also for these 6th grade medicinal herbs. Usually these guys would directly hide these 6th grade medicinal herbs. If you want to buy them, it would take a lot of money and effort. This was a rare opportunity, so Li Zongjio didn't give up. It was just a good opportunity to let Kun Erasure make a name for himself here. In such a place where good people mixed with bad people, the chances of becoming famous were higher, but the chances of dying were naturally higher. If you want to make a name for yourself, you have to take risks. The drunken flower hasn't appeared yet. It seems like it is waiting for a big move. Li Zongjio and the others sat in front of the table. They were discussing where the drunken life flower was located. They also asked these people to pay attention to it. They had to find the drunken life flower, no matter what. Several people came to the Black Horse Square again. There were people around to maintain order. These people in front of them could only keep retreating. They couldn't get too close. It was to prevent some irrelevant people from getting close. Compared to yesterday, the number of people today naturally decreased a lot. Many people had been eliminated in the first round. As for those who stayed behind, they were either experts themselves, or they had some tricks up their sleeves. So the next battle was naturally more difficult. The number of arenas decreased directly. On the second day, a total of 20 arena masters were set up, and the free arena was cancelled. So if one didn't have enough strength, it was impossible to defend this arena, and it was very likely that he would encounter some situation of attrition battle. As long as he could win, it didn't matter what method was used. Take the initiative to challenge, Li Zongjio said to Kun Erasure. Kun Erasure also nodded. He naturally understood Li Zongjio's meaning. With Kun Arashi's level of strength, it was very difficult to catch up with Li Zongjio, but Li Zongjio still took the initiative to bring him around. It was obvious that he wanted to train him and treated him as his own brother, so he was willing to do so. Therefore, Lan Kun knew that he had to increase his strength. He had to constantly sharpen himself. Only then would he be able to succeed. Only then can he kill his way out of the thousands of difficulties. Kun Arashi's eyes also had a trace of madness. Lan Kun was not a person who knew his place. Now, he naturally wanted to show off his prowess. Since the Dark Horse Pill Gathering was a very good opportunity to show off, Lan Kun naturally wanted to perform well. Immediately, Kun Arashi's figure leaped, and he directly rushed towards the arena. The arena master had already been changed. Those who did not become the arena master yesterday were directly chosen as the arena master today. Unless you did not participate in this Black Horse Pill convention, you would definitely have the opportunity to fight. Yesterday's lucky kid. Huh? Do you really think that I don't have any skills? Seeing Kun Erasure jump up, opposite him was a hunchback old man. It was said that this old man bent his back to study alchemy for many years, and that was why he became a hunchback. Some people also said that this old man stole alchemy skills, and his spine was broken. In the end, he became like this and fell to this place. In short, there were all kinds of stories. It did not affect this hunchback old man's prestige at all. Hunchback old man, I have heard of your name when I was in Cohen Castle. Cohen Arisher looked at the old man in front of him and said. When the hunchback old man heard Cohen Arashi's words, his eyes lit up. What did this kid mean? When he thought about it carefully, he immediately understood that this kid actually came from Cohen Castle. You are from Cohen Castle? Hee, what a coincidence. Looks like you are very confident. Since someone from Cohen Castle is here, there is no need for you to go back. The hunchback old man also grinned, revealing a mouth full of big golden teeth. This person was also a wanted criminal in Cohen Castle. Although his reputation was not very high, this ordinary wanted criminal still belonged to the category of wanted criminals. Chapter 813. The camel-humped old man didn't commit any heinous acts before. However, he violated the rules of Cohen Castle and even ran away without permission. Naturally, he became a wanted criminal in Cohen Castle. However, Cohen Castle didn't have enough manpower, so they didn't chase after these people all over the world. Only when these disciples of Cohen Castle were wandering outside would they catch these people. If they accidentally bumped into one, they would take care of him. For example, Cohen Arisher actually happened to meet the camel-humped old man here. Naturally, they would punish him on the spot to show the prestige of Cohen Castle. Li Zhongjiu didn't continue to pay attention to the situation here. He didn't care about Cohen Arashi's outcome. If Cohen Arisher succeeded in making his way through the Dark Horse Pill meeting, then Li Zhongjiu would celebrate for him. However, if Cohen Arisher was harmed, then Li Zhongjiu would definitely take revenge for Cohen Arisher. This was Li Zhongjiu's mentality. The honorary elder of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion is actually a 17-year-old youth. How sad. Do you think it's necessary for a trashy force like the Heavenly Pill Pavilion to exist? Li Zhongjiu was about to ask Feng Tingfei where the damn drunken flower was. After all, if he used his eyes to look for it, who knew how long it would take him to find it? If he directly looked for Feng Tingfei, it might be more effective. However, before he could do so, a voice rang out behind him. From the sound of it, it was obvious that this voice was coming for Li Zhongjiu. Who do you think you are? Li Zhongjiu turned around and saw a tall and burly man appear directly behind him. Oh, you're the one who peeped with the binoculars yesterday, right? When Li Zhongjiu saw Dong Yongbai in front of him, he immediately recognized him. Dong Yongbai didn't expect Li Zhongjiu to say such words without any restraint. To Dong Yongbai, this was a great provocation. He couldn't help but want to beat Li Zhongjiu to death on the spot.
Who peeped at you?
With this young master status, do I need to do such a thing? It was laughable just thinking about it. Bullshit. Stop talking nonsense. Since there's no need to talk between us, let's meet in the arena. Dong Yongbai directly said to Li Zhongjiu. Do you see that person? Li Zhongjiu pointed at Lan Kuan, who was currently sparring with the hunchback elder. Dong Yongbai wasn't blind, so he could naturally see it. Defeat him first, then come and find me. After patting Dong Yongbai's shoulder, Li Zhongjiu left directly. Dong Yongbai was stunned for a moment. Was this kid serious? He actually dared to say such words to Dong Yongbai. This was forcing him to directly kill Li Zhongjiu. He had even clenched his fist a few times. Very well, you asked for it. Let's see what other excuses you have. Dong Yongbai wasn't in a hurry to deal with Li Zhongjiu. Instead, he walked directly in the direction of Cohen Arisher. Poor Cohen Arisher didn't know that Li Zhongjiu's words had brought him a powerful enemy. Cohen Arisher was also fighting desperately in the arena. It took Li Zhong a long time to find Feng Tingfei. Do you know who among these people has the drunken life flower? Li Zhongjiu asked straightforwardly. This put Feng Tingfei in a difficult position. At this time, he obviously didn't say it casually. At least, this was considered a leak of information. However, Li Zhongjiu came personally to ask. If he didn't give an explanation, he wouldn't be able to get past this hurdle. Although this is against the rules, since Elder Li personally asked, I'll give you face. In fact, the people of the Dongyao clan have already contacted you. As far as I know, the drunken life flower is in the hands of these people. But I'm not very clear about who has it. Foam Tingfei said. Although it was equivalent to not saying anything, at least this could be used to identify some people. The Dongyao clan? When Li Zongjiu heard this name, he frowned. It wasn't because he had never heard of it. On the contrary, it was because he had heard of the name of the Dongyao clan that he knew clearly that with the strength of the Dongyao clan, they shouldn't appear in such a place. This was a little surprising. Why would these people appear in such a place? With the strength of the Dongyao clan, they naturally wouldn't come to such a place. However, the people of the Myriad Spirits Immortal Shop are not simple. They used a lot of connections to invite these people here. When Foam Tingfei found out that the people of the Myriad Spirits Immortal Shop had invited the people of the Dongyao clan, he was terrified. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Fortunately, he met Li Zongjiu. When such a hidden trump card was revealed, Foam Tingfei felt as if he had eaten a calming pill. Whether it was the previous Blue Void or the current Oldemo, those people were not qualified to fight with the people of the Dongyao clan. 10 Directions Medicine Hall seemed to have known about this long ago, so they just casually selected some people to go through the motions. However, it was still unknown whether they had secretly prepared any tricks. If Li Zongjiu were to fight with the people of the Dongyao clan now, it was obviously not a wise thing to do. Therefore, Foam Tingfei tried to persuade him. With the strength of the people of the Dongyao clan, they will definitely be able to make it to the end. When the time comes, you will definitely be able to face them. At this moment, we still need to conserve our strength. Bang. As soon as Foam Tingfei finished speaking, a loud noise was heard. At the front of the arena, a figure was directly sent flying to the ground. Kuin Arisher. The explosion just now came from the medicinal cauldron in Kuin Arashi's hand. In the competition in the arena just now, Kuin Arashi's medicinal cauldron was directly shattered. Kuin Arashi's figure fell to the ground, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. A piece of trash. You want to compete with me with this kind of trash? A figure stood at the edge of the arena, looking at the person who fell to the ground in front of him with an incomparably arrogant attitude. Then, he looked in the direction of Li Zongjiu, his eyes full of provocation. He made a quick judgment. Li Zongjiu's eyes immediately turned cold. The smile at the corner of his mouth was quite sinister. If Kuin Arisher couldn't make it out of this competition, it was Kuin Arashi's problem. However, you can kill Kuin Arisher, but you can't humiliate Kuin Arisher. No matter what, Kuin Arisher was Li Zongjiu's brother. You're courting death. It was just a simple word, but it made Foam Tingfei, who was standing beside him, feel an extremely inexplicable tremble. Chapter 814. Foam Tingfei's body couldn't help but tremble. At this moment, Li Zongjiu's aura was so cold that no one dared to get close to him. He immediately realized that something big was going to happen to Li Zongjiu. Foam Tingfei's heart was filled with nervousness and excitement. At the same time, he was a little worried. After all, Li Zongjiu could be said to be his only hope. He couldn't count on the other two. Foam Tingfei wasn't mentally prepared to let Li Zongjiu fight with these people from the Eastern Medicine clan so soon. That was why he was so nervous. Are you okay? Hey, is there something wrong with your brain? Li Yun helped Kuin Arisher up. Looking at the person in front of him, he couldn't wait to rush up and tear apart this person's smirking mouth. It was a face that made people loathe just by looking at it. Kuin Arisher also struggled to get up. At this moment, Li Zongjiu also walked over. First, he tapped Kuin Arashi's body a few times. Finally, he slapped Kuin Arashi's body. Kuin Arisher suddenly spat out a mouthful of black blood. His body returned to normal. You can break my hidden strength. Your eyesight is not bad. You are qualified to fight with me. Dong Yongbai looked at Li Zongjiu and said indifferently. There was a strange light in his eyes. He was surprised that Li Zongjiu could discover the hidden strength in Kuin Arashi's body and remove it so easily. This was what surprised Dong Yongbai. This was not an ability that an alchemist should have. I think you are really tired of living. Li Zongjiu glanced at the broken pieces of the alchemy cauldron on the stage. Every alchemy cauldron was the partner of an alchemist. Although it was not so mysterious, deliberately destroying the other party's things was also very hateful. Without saying a word, he walked up to the arena. Since you are so arrogant, then let's bet 36th-tier medicinal herbs, Li Zhongjiu said directly. 36th grade medicinal herbs. This number was definitely a huge amount of pressure for a force like the 1,000 Taste Herb Hall. This pressure was even enough to crush a powerful family. Even if the 100 Medicine Pavilion wanted to take out so many grade 6 medicinal ingredients at once, it would be somewhat difficult. He definitely wouldn't want to willingly take out this 6th grade medicinal ingredient. It was equivalent to cutting off a piece of meat from the 100 Medicine Pavilion. Hee, are you trying to scare me? I'm afraid you don't have that ability. In the eyes of ordinary people, 30 stalks of grade 6 medicinal herbs was already an extremely terrifying gamble. However, Dong Yangbai only casually crooked his finger. No problem. I'll give you whatever you want. In the eyes of these people, 6th grade medicinal herbs were only equivalent to pocket money. They did not put them in their eyes at all. This was the power of the Eastern medicine family, which controlled powerful resources. What do you want to compete in? You can choose whatever you want. Dong Yangbai was obviously very confident. No matter what Li Zhongjiu chose, he was confident that he could defeat Li Zhongjiu directly. Let's compete in what you just did. Compete in suppressing fire. Compete in suppressing fire. It was also a unique competition among alchemists. The flame in an alchemy furnace was not static, and during the process, it would often suddenly emerge when the pill was about to be refined, causing the temperature to rise rapidly. At this time, it was a test of the alchemist's ability to suppress the fire. Once the flames erupt, you won't have the chance to retract the power. If you were unable to suppress the flame, then your furnace of pills would easily turn into a pile of ashes. This was why the ability to suppress the flame was tested. Only an experienced alchemist would be able to control the sudden change of the flame. The competition in this arena was to place the two alchemy furnaces together and send the flame to the other alchemy furnace. At the same time, the alchemist had to suppress the flame in his own alchemy furnace. Whoever extinguished the other's flame first would be the winner. This was the so-called competition in suppressing fire. Obviously, Kuan Erisher and Dong Yangbai were competing in suppressing fire. The result could be seen from the scene. The fragments scattered all over the ground. Kuan Erisher even blew up the alchemy furnace in his hand. The other party did not show any mercy at all. This was completely to humiliate Kuan Erisher. Not only that, the guy in front of him secretly injected a few hidden forces into Kuan Arashi's body. It was this hidden force that caused Kuan Erisher to suffer such a serious injury. Be careful of this person. His flame is very strong. With great difficulty, Lan Kuan finally managed to squeeze out these words. After listening to Kuan Arashi's words, Li Zhongjiu gestured with his hands. Kuan Erisher was using the residual sun flame, which he had refined some time ago. Although it had only been a short time, Kuan Erisher was already quite proficient in it. No matter how bad the residual sun flame was, it shouldn't have failed so thoroughly. Therefore, the power of the other party's flame must be very strong. It couldn't be underestimated. I will pay him back tenfold for what he did to you. Li Zhongjiu's tone was calm. Those who didn't know him would think that Li Zhongjiu was acting tough. However, those who were familiar with Li Zhongjiu knew that Li Zhongjiu was really angry. When Lan Kuan faced the other party, he felt an extremely strong sense of oppression. In fact, in just a few minutes, he was already suppressed by the other party. Then, he was directly detonated by the other party, causing him to be seriously injured. He knew that the other party had launched a sneak attack on him, but he had no way to resist or evade. Let's compete in fire suppression. Let's start. Dong Yangbai didn't care about what Li Zhongjiu was competing in. Anyway, as long as he stood in the arena, he wouldn't be able to walk away safely. He didn't know that Li Zhongjiu was also thinking the same.
Boom.
Dong Yangbai once again took out his medicine cauldron. It was a blue medicine cauldron. Sky blue reverend cauldron. The corners of Dong Yangbai's mouth curled into a sneer. It was said that the celestial blue Reverend Cauldron was left behind by an ancient sovereign expert when he was refining pills. Now that it had fallen into Dong Yongbai's hands, it showed his strength and talent. Otherwise, why would the Eastern Medicine clan give such a precious item to Dong Yongbai? This guy is showing off again, Dong Xiaobai said disdainfully when she saw this scene from below the arena. This guy really likes to show off. Showing off. Li Zongjiu took out the Azura Cauldron, which also landed on the ground with a boom. From the outside, the Azura Cauldron was extremely low-key. Moreover, it was thinner than the sky-blue Reverend Cauldron. However, Dong Yongbai frowned. The moment the Azura Cauldron appeared, the surroundings were filled with a faint killing intent. Chapter 8:15. Of course, the people below the stage couldn't feel it, but the people on the stage naturally felt the deterrence of Li Zongjiu's Azura Cauldron. However, Dong Yongbai was still extremely confident in himself. The cauldron in his hand was a treasure passed down from his ancestors. To be able to obtain it, one needed to have the corresponding strength. As for the cauldron in Li Zongjiu's hand, he knew at a glance that it must have come from some crooked ways. There was no need to worry about it. Come on! The cauldron was one aspect, but the flame was also very important. Poison, torment, true scripture. The two of them sat on the ground. Dong Yongbai took the lead and slapped Li Zongjiu's Azura Cauldron. Obviously, Dong Yongbai's main strategy was to attack. Only offense was the best defense. When the energy poured into the Azura Cauldron, a flame suddenly appeared in Li Zongjiu's Azura Cauldron. The flame constantly collided with the Azura Cauldron. Poison, torment, true fire. Dong Yongbai's eyes flashed with a cold light. Although the cultivation of this primordial flame was born within the body, it also consumed a lot of natural treasures. In order to birth this flame within his body, it could be said that he had gone through a lot of hardships. If one wanted to stand out in such a big family, one must be ruthless to oneself. Only by being ruthless to oneself could one become a real expert. Otherwise, one would only be trampled under others' feet. Being born in a big family was never a very lucky thing. Dong Yongbai was an expert who stepped on the bones of geniuses of the same age. In front of Dong Yongbai, nothing could stop him. At the very least, this was what almost everyone was thinking. When Dong Yongbai's poison, torment, true fire occupied Li Zongjiu's Azura Cauldron, Kuinarashi's eyes widened when he saw this scene. This guy can control the flame in the cauldron to attack. His method is very strange. Moreover, the cauldron can turn into a highly poisonous object. Kun Erasher exclaimed. He didn't even have time to remind Li Zongjiu. Li Zongjiu also placed his palm on it, allowing the flames and poison to enter his body. He saw that Li Zongjiu did not attack, but only focused on defense. Absorbing the flame into one's body was an extremely risky action. Of course, it was only possible to absorb the energy into one's body in order to relieve the pressure in the cauldron in a very desperate situation. Li Zongjiu had used such a method the moment he came up. It was obvious that he was trying to find a reason for himself to die faster. When the rest of the people saw Li Zongjiu's behavior, they were clearly amateurs. Or rather, they were so frightened by the person in front of them that they didn't know how to deal with such a situation. I thought this Li Zongjiu had some ability. It seems that he is also a short-lived ghost. He panicked when faced with a little pressure. I'm afraid he can't withstand it with this kind of endurance. Some people couldn't help but shake their heads. They felt very sorry for Li Zongjiu's inexperience. In this kind of battlefield, a small mistake was enough to turn you into ashes. What else could you do? Dong Yongbai originally thought the same, but after a few seconds, he completely changed his mind. The tormenting true fire in his body was constantly spreading from the Azura Cauldron into Li Zongjiu's body. No matter how much energy there was, it was all absorbed by Li Zongjiu. When his own flame entered Li Zongjiu's body, it was like a clay ox entering the sea. There was no movement at all. It was directly absorbed by Li Zongjiu just like that. How is this possible? Is there no limit to this guy's body? He looked at Li Zongjiu, who was still expressionless. The only thing that changed was his robe swaying due to the fluctuation of yuan qi. Other than that, there was nothing wrong with him. Is this all you've got? Li Zhongjiu looked at Dong Yongbai in front of him. At this moment, Dong Yongbai saw one thing in Li Zhongjiu's eyes. It was contempt. This was a kind of extreme contempt. It was a look that didn't put Dong Yongbai in his eyes at all. Dong Yongbai had once looked up at a person, and his memory of this gaze was very clear. However, he hadn't seen such a gaze for a long time after he became successful. Now, this gaze was repeated on Li Zhongjiu's body. Dong Yongbai was naturally furious. Oh no, Dong Yongbai is angry. Dong Xiubai said softly when she saw that Dong Yongbai's eyes had become radical. Based on her understanding of Dong Yongbai, although the latter looked frivolous, in fact, it was very difficult to provoke him. Dong Yongbai even had full confidence in doing anything he wanted. But now his eyes changed so quickly. He was obviously angered by Li Zhongjiu. Then, one could feel that Dong Yongbai's aura had soared. At this moment, it seemed that the world had also felt the throbbing of the power of the wind and clouds.
Boom.
The domineering power seemed to be drawn from the boundless sky. There seemed to be a surge of energy around Dong Yongbai's body. A huge black tiger covered in flames placed its claws on Dong Yongbai's body. Then, the tiger's figure slowly emerged. Roar! A tiger roar sounded. The black tiger's appearance was full of majesty. It had an aura that could devour the world. With a gentle sweep of the tiger's tail, a heat wave swept across like a hurricane, rolling up a frenzy on the ground.
Boom.
Dong Yongbai had already decided to get rid of Li Zhongjiu as quickly as possible, to avoid any more trouble.
Oh.
Subduing flame tiger? When Li Zhongjiu saw the power of Dong Yongbai's original soul, he was shocked. This was because the hidden flame tiger itself was very powerful. It was not easy to obtain such a primordial spirit. Furthermore, after a long period of cultivation, the hidden flame tiger could also reach the peak of the Type 6 realm. It was equivalent to a peak primitive emperor expert. Therefore, the quality of the subduing flame tiger was very strong. Hearing Li Zhongjiu say the name of the subduing flame tiger, Dong Yongbai was surprised and proud. It seemed that Li Zhongjiu was not a frog at the bottom of the well. In this case, he could clearly understand the power of the subduing flame tiger. Since you know, then you can be considered to have died with a clear understanding. The subduing flame tiger jumped onto the Azura cauldron. Then, as it trembled, a terrifying flame surged into Li Zhongjiu's Azura cauldron.
Boom.
Chapter 816. Within Li Zhongjiu's Azura cauldron, there seemed to be a heat wave surging, like a tsunami of flames. However, the Azura cauldron did not move at all, standing firmly in its original position. At the same time, all the energy was rushing towards Li Zhongjiu's body. Li Zhongjiu's expression did not change, sitting steadily like a mountain. However, as the power of the subduing flame tiger surged into Li Zhongjiu's body started to turn red. It looked like a piece of red-hot iron. Seeing Li Zhongjiu's body turn red, everyone was on tenterhooks. Was Li Zhongjiu going to explode like a watermelon? Wouldn't that be too bloody? Dong Yongbai seemed to have seen a glimmer of hope as he increased the energy in his body again. He did not hesitate to release it. Ancient golden tyrannical body technique. At this moment, Li Zhongjiu was also madly circulating the primordial body technique. His originally red body gradually stabilized at this moment, and the color of his skin also returned to normal. How is this possible? What is this guy's body made of? Li Zhongjiu's body was like a bottomless pit, constantly devouring the torturous true flame. Moreover, it seemed like he was not satisfied yet. If not for Dong Yongbai's profound strength, he would have been sucked dry by Li Zhongjiu. At this moment, Li Zhongjiu seemed to be really dissatisfied with the current situation. Is this all you have? No wonder you're just a piece of trash your whole life. Li Zhongjiu's voice was like thousands of silver needles piercing Dong Yongbai's ears, piercing into the depths of his soul, making Dong Yongbai furious. Unfortunately, now is not the time for Dong Yongbai to show off, because Li Zongjiu already knew the ins and outs of Dong Yongbai. He had even given Dong Yongbai enough time and opportunity to show off. It was all because he was too weak. Absorb. A terrifying suction force came from Li Zongjiu's body. It sucked Dong Yongbai's energy into his body. This was equivalent to directly stripping energy from Dong Yongbai's body. Even if Dong Yongbai wanted to withdraw his hand, it was already firmly sucked in. Not good. Dong Yongbai seems to be at a disadvantage. Dong Hanshan's expression turned ugly when he saw Dong Yongbai. He was no longer the one taking the initiative to transfer the flames into Dong Yongbai's body. Instead, Dong Yongbai was forced to be absorbed by Li Zongjiu. The Eastern Frost Mountain had never expected anyone to be able to do such a thing. However, seeing that Dong Yongbai had fallen into such a predicament, Li Zongjiu was indeed quite capable. Don't worry, that guy hasn't used his ultimate move yet. Dong Xiubai calmed down. After all, Dong Yongbai was a genius of the Dongyao clan. It wouldn't be easy for such a small setback to knock him down. If it was really that easy, the Dongyao clan wouldn't have become one of the 4 great clans of the Xingwu continent. Dong Yongbai felt that Li Zongjiu's motive was to suck him dry. Did he really think that the people of the Dongyao clan were pushovers? Alright, since you want to challenge me, come on. Dong Yongbai growled and placed both his palms on the Azura cauldron. Boom! The entire Azura cauldron shook, and a crack spread directly in front of Li Zongjiu. At the same time, an even more tyrannical force poured into the Azura cauldron from Dong Yongbai's right hand. Dong Yongbai had been resisting with his left hand before, but when he placed his right hand on the cauldron, he immediately felt a violent force surging out. The force was 10 times stronger than before. Even the subduing flame tiger was excited at this moment. It growled and unfolded a pair of flaming wings on its back. As the pair of flaming wings flapped, the clouds in the sky were directly burned by the energy and dyed red by the flames. Something's wrong with my right hand. Li Zongjiu also felt some pressure at this moment. The surging power caused Li Zongjiu's body to involuntarily release a golden light. With the appearance of the golden light, Li Zongjiu's defense suddenly increased. However, this was an accident. Li Zongjiu didn't expect his opponent's explosive power to be so strong. If it weren't for the golden light protecting his body, he would have been swallowed by the power and sent flying. Did you seal the power inside? It seems like you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. Li Zongjiu looked at Dong Yongbai calmly. Li Zongjiu's calm expression immediately set off a storm in Dong Yongbai's heart. Why was he still unable to kill Li Zongjiu after using the Raging Flame Qilin arm? This Li Zongjiu is too resistant to beatings. What is this thing? Since you've used up all your tricks, it's time for you to taste mine. Li Zongjiu wasn't here to watch your performance. He was here to teach you a lesson. Immediately, the Azura cauldron trembled. Suddenly, a black light was released from the Azura cauldron. A black figure covered in blood, holding a long scythe, descended like the god of death. Beneath his feet were flames. These flames were the tormenting true fire, but they couldn't get close to him. It was an artifact spirit. When the crowd saw the black figure appear, they all exclaimed one after another. This was because the black figure belonged to the Azura cauldron's artifact spirit. The appearance of the artifact spirit immediately brought an extremely shocking performance to these people. This cauldron actually has an artifact spirit. What a powerful artifact spirit. It's even more powerful than an origin spirit. Some people exclaimed when they saw the power of the Azura. A cauldron with an artifact spirit would be able to cultivate twice the results with half the effort. However, this artifact spirit didn't seem to be very good at assisting in alchemy. When the artifact spirit appeared, the long scythe in his hand slashed downwards.
Boom.
The subduing flame tiger was instantly struck by the Azura scythe, and one of its wings turned into ashes.
Boom.
The Azura leaped and rushed towards Dong Yongbai. This move immediately made Dong Yongbai feel immense pressure. Even so, Li Zongjiu didn't violate any rules. The scythe in the Azura's hand slashed towards Dongyang Bai. Chapter 8:17. Azura's sudden attack was beyond Dongyang Bai's expectations. He did not even know how the cauldron was able to give birth to an artifact spirit. Even if there really was an artifact spirit, it should have been destroyed by his tormenting true fire. It should have been under his control. How could it break out so quickly? The tormenting true fire in his body automatically protected him. However, the Azura's movements were very big. He continuously chopped down with his blade without the slightest bit of hesitation. Dongyang Bai was almost unable to withstand the continuous fierce attacks. Subduing flame tiger. Dongyang Bai roared. However, in the next moment, the subduing flame tiger was sent flying by the Azura cauldron. With a loud bang, the Azura cauldron caught the subduing flame tiger. When Li Zongjiu caught the subduing flame tiger, the Azura cauldron caught the subduing flame tiger. Dongyang Bai instinctively sensed that something was wrong. A sense of crisis rose in his heart. Oh no! In the next moment, Dongyang Bai immediately retracted his energy. The subduing flame tiger was being roasted by the terrifying flames in the Azura cauldron.
Boom.
The subduing flame tiger kept hitting the Azura cauldron with its claws, producing loud bangs. The subduing flame tiger seemed to be in extreme pain. The subduing flame tiger was being roasted alive. Some people even felt sorry for the subduing flame tiger when they heard its tragic cries. Dongyang Bai was nervous as well. However, there was nothing he could do. He could only watch the Fu Yen tiger suffer in agony. Li Zongjiu, you're courting death. Dongyang Bai used his blazing Qilin arm to pinch Azura in front of him. In an instant, the Azura cauldron's body exploded. The ferocity in his eyes and his aura surged. He wanted to use his true strength. Even if he had to use his Yuan energy, he wanted to cripple Li Zongjiu. How could he torture his original spirit? Even if Dongyang Bai wanted to take back his subduing flame tiger, it would be impossible. Lunar Stupa, endless torments. Dongyang Bai angrily roared as the flames around him gathered like a storm. Extremely terrifying power condensed, and a powerful ring of fire appeared around Dongyang Bai's body. Immediately, Dongyang Bai's eyes turned sharp. You're courting death. In Dongyang Bai's eyes, Li Zongjiu, who came from the mortal world, had thoroughly angered him, the young master of the high and mighty Dongyang Bai. An expert like him was born to be above others. It was not up to a mere mortal to tell him what to do. Right now, such an aura was spreading out. As expected of someone from the clan of Eastern Medicine, when Wu Qingfeng saw Dongyang Bai's imposing aura, he became serious. Under such an imposing aura, the surrounding people were overshadowed. Even the aura of all the people present couldn't compare to Dongyang Bai's aura. From this, one could see how strong Dongyang Bai was. Even if this guy were to fight all of them alone, it wouldn't be a problem. You think you're so capable? Li Zongjiu stretched out his hand and waved. Immediately, a black cloud emerged above Black Horse Town. Following the appearance of the dark clouds, the surrounding temperature rose abruptly. At this moment, it was as if a huge volcano was floating above their heads. Mountain of obsidian fire. Li Zongjiu turned the obsidian fire in his hand into a huge mountain of flames. The terrifying aura that Dongyang Bai had displayed before also disappeared at this moment. This was because Dongyang Bai's aura seemed so weak compared to Li Zongjiu's aura.
Boom.
The mountain of obsidian fire fell directly towards Dongyang Bai. You're just a facade. Dongyang Bai pushed with both hands, and the huge ring of fire around him was pushed out and shrouded upwards. Bang! However, Dongyang Bai's power appeared to be very weak. Just by getting close to the mountain of obsidian fire, it began to collapse. After that, the volcano fell straight down and directly pressed Dongyang Bai's sky-blue imperial cauldron under it. Dongyang Bai looked at his sky-blue imperial cauldron in horror. Impossible! In the next moment, a crack appeared on the sky-blue imperial cauldron. As the power increased, a terrifying crack immediately appeared on the sky-blue imperial cauldron.
Bang! Bang. Bang.
The sky-blue imperial cauldron was blown to pieces. At the same time, a muffled sound came from the Azura cauldron. Then, a black smoke spread out from the Azura cauldron, but the Azura cauldron itself was unscathed.
Puff.
Dong Yongbai spat out a mouthful of blood, and then his body suddenly flew out of the arena. Li Zhongzhou's finger moved slightly and immediately pulled a fragment of the sky-blue imperial cauldron towards Dong Yongbai. Presumptuous. Dong Hanshan saw Li Zhongzhou's little trick and immediately rushed towards Dong Yongbai. Now that they were outside, he represented the reputation and face of the Eastern Medicine clan. How could he just watch Dong Yongbai be crippled? After shattering the fragment that was rushing towards Dong Yongbai with a palm, Dong Hanshan glared at Li Zhongzhou in front of him. You actually want to kill me to silence me. How cruel of you. Today, the Eastern Medicine clan will not let you go. Dong Hanshan pointed at Li Zhongzhou and said coldly, You talk too much. The mountain of flames did not dissipate, and it continued to press down on Dong Hanshan. Dong Hanshan felt that Li Zhongzhou had no intention of stopping, and was shocked. However, he did not stop what he was doing. Immediately, a Vajra fan appeared in Dong Hanshan's hand. With a slight sway, an incomparably cold gust of wind rushed towards the flaming mountain.
Boom.
However, it was to no avail. The Eastern Frost Mountain was instantly crushed by the power of the Mountain of Obsidian Fire. His entire body was sent flying, and the ground beneath his feet cracked from the impact. Puff. Dong Hanshan's body also flew backwards and landed on the ground. Dong Xiaobai stretched out her hand and beckoned, pulling the two of them behind her. However, when Dong Yongbai's body was in the air, he seemed to feel a force tearing at him. Rip.
Puff.
Dong Yongbai immediately woke up from the intense pain. His right hand was forcibly torn off. Blood splattered on the ground, and this arm was directly wrapped by the obsidian flames and burned to ashes. So, what if you are one of the 4 great clans of the continent? Even if you are the emperor, you can forget about stepping on Li Zhongzhou's head. If you are wrong, you will have to pay the price. Chapter 8:18. Dong Xiaobai could only watch as Dong Yongbai's arm was torn off by Li Zhongzhou. Moreover, the Eastern Frost Mountain was closer, so he could see it more clearly. Dong Yongbai's arm had been torn off so easily. There was a powerful force sealed in Dong Yongbai's right hand. Now that his arm had been torn off, the force naturally no longer existed. When Dong Yongbai woke up and realized that his arm had been cut off by Li Zhongzhou, he couldn't bear such a blow. He covered his severed arm and stared at Li Zhongzhou. Li Zhongzhou, I, Dong Yongbai, will fight you to the death. Dong Yongbai roared. Li Zhongzhou frowned when he saw the look in Dong Yongbai's eyes. His expression turned frosty. Oh? Then you shall die. Li Zhongzhou immediately leaped from the arena and rushed towards Dong Yongbai without any hesitation. Wait. Dong Xiaobai saw Li Zhongzhou attack again. She obviously knew that these people were no match for Li Zhongzhou. Dong Yongbai had completely angered Li Zhongzhou. Li Zhongzhou had killed countless people. It didn't matter if he killed one more or one less. Since this was a situation where he would fight to the death, there was no need to leave anyone alive. Li Zhongzhou was fearless when he saw Dong Xiaobai standing in front of him. So, what if a woman was in his way? Naturally, he could easily get rid of her. However, an item appeared in Dong Xiaobai's hand. Li Zhongzhou's eyes were like torches. When he saw the item, his killing intent gradually disappeared. My Dongyao clan was in the wrong for what happened today. This token can be exchanged for your life. In a moment of desperation, Dong Xiaobai had no choice but to withdraw the defensive treasure. It was a command token that was only the size of a thumb. Anyone who had some experience in Jianghu would have heard of this token, but never seen it. After all, only the top clans of the continent could take out something like that. As for the value of this item, only those who had experienced it would know just how valuable it was. To these colossal families, this item symbolized their family's reputation, and they would use their family's reputation in exchange for their lives. The name of this item was the thumb token. It was also known as a contract order. The person who possessed the command of the thumb was indebted to the clan. At the same time, it was a life-saving item. If the person possessed the command of the thumb, the clans in the continent would not be enemies with them. In fact, they could even ask the clan with the command of the thumb to do something within their power. Li Zongjie reached out and took the thumbs-up token. Eastern Blue's contract order? Who are you in Eastern Heavens? Looking at the contract token in his hand, Li Zongjie frowned as he looked at the woman before him. You know my great-grandfathers? Dong Xiaobai looked at Li Zongjie in shock. In fact, the true meaning of the command of the thumb wasn't that of a clan because that wasn't very specific. To be able to take out the command of the thumb meant that there was a sovereign realm expert among them. What it represented was the promise of a supreme being expert. Thus, one could imagine the weight of this token. This was the reason why Li Zongjie stopped. Li Zongjie naturally couldn't offend a sovereign realm expert. Otherwise, even the Heavenly Pill Pavilion and the Shengyan dynasty wouldn't be able to protect Li Zongjie. If he were to face a sovereign realm expert now, it would be difficult for Li Zongjie to escape. When Li Zongjie became a sovereign realm expert in the future, he had crossed paths with Eastern Blue. In the beginning, Eastern Blue was also quite arrogant, but he was gradually overtaken by Li Zongjie. Eastern Blue's strength was only average in the sovereign realm. In his previous life, Li Zongjie was in existence at the peak of the sovereign realm. The gap between them could be imagined. It was even more terrifying. Li Zongjie still couldn't face the threat of a sovereign realm expert at the current stage. Of course, such ordinary matters didn't necessarily require the help of a sovereign realm expert. If every matter required the help of a sovereign realm expert, then this sovereign realm expert was too weak. With just a word, the Eastern Medicine clan would mobilize the entire clan to deal with Li Zongjie. This time, I'll give him face. Li Zongjie withdrew his hand. At the same time, he threw out the thumb token in his hand. Dong Xiaobai caught the thumb token in her hand and looked at Li Zongjie in front of her. Her eyes were filled with shock. Since Li Zongjie could call out Eastern Blue's name, he must know the true meaning of this item. But now Li Zongjie actually returned such an important item. Looking at Li Zongjie's eyes, it seemed that he really didn't care about this item. He clearly knew the value of this item in his hand, but he still returned it. It could be seen that Li Zongjie's strength was really unfathomable. Now that the two of them were seriously injured, Dong Xiaobai naturally couldn't stay here for long. She immediately left with the two of them. Wu Qingfeng also quickly sent people to pick them up. No one had expected that this matter would end up like this. Wu Qingfeng was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. He never thought that Li Zongjie's strength was so strong. Even the people of the Dongyao clan were no match for Li Zongjie. They were all easily defeated, and that guy was even seriously injured. If Li Zongjie really killed Dong Yongbai, Wu Qingfeng's future would be bleak. Naturally, Wu Qingfeng would not have a good time in the future. He would not be able to escape the responsibility of the Eastern Medicine clan. When Feng Tingfei saw Li Zongjie defeat Dong Yongbai, he was happy. But when he saw that Li Zongjie wanted to kill Dong Yongbai as well, he couldn't sit still. If he really killed Dong Yongbai, Feng Tingfei's fate wouldn't be any better. In front of the Dongyao clan, who cared about right or wrong, if one of them got into trouble, everyone would have to suffer together. This was the benefit of having great strength. Right or wrong didn't matter. Strength was what really mattered. The people of the Dark Horse Elixir Association didn't dare to provoke Li Zongjie. The scene today was very grand. Li Zongjie had defeated the two geniuses of the Eastern Medicine clan all by himself. No one would dare to believe it if they were in his shoes. And no one present could think that they were Li Zongjie's opponent. After that, in the Dark Horse Elixir Association, the rest of the competition directly became a foil, no longer dazzling. Just based on the 30 stalks of Tier 6 spiritual herbs that Li Zongjie had just won, it was enough to secure his position as the champion. Chapter 819. In the next 2 days, Li Zhongjio did not need to appear. With this great god around, who could easily take someone's life, how many people dared to face Li Zhongjio head-on? These people even deliberately forgot about Li Zhongjio for the time being. They did not want to think of this terrifying demon. Even Wu Qingfeng and the others were already well aware of each other. In this Dark Horse Elixir meeting, the biggest winner was naturally the 100 Medicine Pavilion. Feng Tingfei had made a great contribution this time, so his heart was naturally very happy. Although Li Zhongjio had cut off an arm of the Dongyao family, this was not a big deal. After all, the reputation of the Heavenly Elixir Pavilion was here. It was not something that could be easily manipulated. The bigger the family, the more they would pay attention to their own reputation and integrity. They would not be too embarrassed, not to mention that this was done openly in the arena. No one could find any fault with it. Therefore, there was no need to worry too much. The 100 Medicine Pavilion took the initiative to send 56th grade medicinal herbs to Li Zhongjio. Not to mention Li Zhongjio's contribution today, which created such good conditions for the 100 Medicine Pavilion in the future. Just Li Zhongjio's strength and potential were here. Of course, it was a great sin. Now that there was such a good opportunity, it was natural to establish a good relationship with Li Zhongjio. Naturally, Li Zhongjio didn't need to be polite. The next elixir that he was going to refine basically required a large number of grade 6 elixirs. To be honest, in the previous life, Li Zhongjio began to study alchemy after he became famous. In the beginning, the things that he used to practice were all 5th grade and 6th grade medicinal herbs. Li Zhongjio had never touched some low-grade medicinal herbs. Fortunately, Li Zhongjio cared more about this basic skill, so he had a good understanding of these low-grade medicinal herbs. In the next 2 days, Li Zhongjio did not have to appear at all to destroy the balance of the Dark Horse Elixir meeting. This way, it was even easier. Every day, he cultivated in the cultivation room. As for Lan Kuan, he was directly thrown into the Dark Horse pill gathering by Li Zhongjio. Lan Kuan was given the opportunity to roam around. It could be said that every battle was unusually intense, causing Lan Kuan to feel exhausted. However, it was this strong pressure that made Kuan Erasure grow rapidly in the Dark Horse Elixir meeting. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that refining pills could be so fucking tiring. Lan Kuan had never thought that the competition between alchemists would actually have such a method. It was simply a variety of methods. Although most of them evolved from basic skills, Lan Kuan was aware of the importance of these basic skills. He had to lay a solid foundation. Only then could he go further on the road of alchemy. Li Yun also stayed in the room for a few days. Sometimes, she did not even have time to eat. Li Zhongjio also took the initiative to send some low-grade primordial stones to Li Yun so that she could improve in the process of the experiment. After all, Li Zhongjio had no way to guide Li Yun on the formation. However, the primordial stones used to support Li Yun's cultivation were a lot.
Just take it.
He did not dare to say anything else, but the primordial stones were definitely enough. On the 3rd day, the Dark Horse Elixir meeting had basically come to an end. Although some veteran experts had been killed by Li Zhongjio, such as Qian Kuan, one of the 2 most threatening Crimson Cloud 5 saints, Alchemy Saint still had another person. After getting rid of these 2 people, this year's Dark Horse Elixir meeting had a lot of newcomers. Kuan Erasure also relied on his own strength to decisively enter the top 5. His ranking was even higher than Old Mo's. Old Mo also had a head-on fight with Kuan Erasure. However, he found that this young man looked immature, but after a few days, the speed of his growth could be described as terrifying. This guy's learning ability and perseverance were also very strong. In the end, Kuan Erasure won. Old Mo was also convinced of his loss. The first place was naturally Li Zhongjio. The second place was Dong Xiubai of the Eastern Medicine Clan. Dong Xiubai did not take the initiative to challenge Li Zhongjio. After all, Dong Xiubai also knew about Li Zhongjio's strength and did not dare to act rashly. However, the clan naturally had to complete the task entrusted by the people of 10 Direction Medicine Hall. After Dong Xiubai defeated all the experts present, he left immediately. He didn't even give these people a chance to meet and search for him. Even Wu Qingfeng couldn't find these people. He had to at least express his gratitude. Wasn't it a little too fast for him to leave? He had no choice but to leave. It was extremely humiliating to stay. The two of them were defeated by Li Zongjiu, even though they joined forces. Of course, it was extremely humiliating. The third place was an expert invited by the 10,000 Spirits Immortal Shop. Without any suspense, he was defeated by Dong Xiaobai. However, the rest of the people were not his opponent. It was said that this person was very low-key. He was a hidden expert from a small city. He had not easily exposed his strength for many years. Now that he showed his strength, it was also amazing. However, this glory was also suppressed by Li Zongjiu and Dong Xiaobai. The fourth place was also a native expert of Qian State. He was also a frequent guest of the Dark Horse Alchemy Assembly. In the past, he could easily enter the top 3, but this time he could not. As for the people in front of him, he didn't dare to casually say the word challenge. This alchemy assembly also led to the emergence of many elixirs. Next was the 7-day free trade market. The 6th grade elixirs or some other things that you obtained could be sold. At the same time, you could also buy a lot of things. Young Master, Wu Qingfeng of 10 Direction Medicine Hall requests to see you. Tian Fei came to report. Wu Qingfeng represented 10 Direction Medicine Hall. Naturally, there would be more exchanges in the future. Let him in,
Li Zongjiu said.
As soon as Wu Qingfeng entered, he cupped his hands to Li Zongjiu. Congratulations, elderly. You have won the first place of this Dark Horse Alchemy Assembly. Hearing Wu Qingfeng's words, Li Zongjiu did not show much expression. Wu Qingfeng also knew that Li Zongjiu was not a polite person. Immediately, he took out a metal box from his arms. Looking at the carvings on the outside, it was obviously a very precious thing. Mysterious yellow iron. When Li Zongjiu saw this box, he had a guess in his heart. There was only one thing that could be suppressed by the heaven and earth qi. Previously, I heard that elderly was looking for the drunken dream flower. I looked around and finally found one. Elderly, would you like to have a look? Chapter 820. Li Zongjiu opened the box. Immediately, a dreamy aura filled the entire room. If it weren't for the fact that the two of them had a strong mental fortitude, they would have been swallowed by the dreamy aura when the radiance appeared. The two of them stabilized their minds. The main reason was that Li Zongjiu's mental energy was able to suppress the drunken life flower. The latter couldn't move at all. Otherwise, with Wu Qingfeng's strength, it would have been difficult for him to suppress the drunken life flower. He would have been more or less affected. In order to obtain this item, Wu Qingfeng had spent a lot of effort to obtain this flower. In the face of someone like Li Zongjiu, if he wanted to rope him in, he had to choose this point no matter what. If he couldn't, then everything would be useless. Seeing Li Zongjiu's expression, Wu Qingfeng knew that he had made the right choice this time. Li Zongjiu was very satisfied. I'll accept this item. If there's anything, Hall Master Wu can just say it. Li Zongjiu's expression changed very quickly. After all, this item was exactly what Li Zongjiu wanted. What else could he do? Elderly's words are too serious. Our 10 Directions Medicine Hall has a wide range of alchemists. Elderly is so young and promising. Naturally, 10 Directions Medicine Hall wants to make friends with you. If Elderly needs anything in the future, you can come directly to 10 Directions Medicine Hall to look for me. Wu Qingfeng hurriedly said. To 10 Directions Medicine Hall, this kind of statement was like giving an indefinite guarantee. Although they said that they didn't need any help, they might come looking for them in the future. Li Zongjiu also knew Wu Qingfeng's intentions. However, now that he had obtained the drunken life flower, he was in a happy state. Naturally, he didn't want to argue with this fellow. Well said. If there's anything your 10 Directions Medicine Hall can't handle in the future, just come and look for me.
Li Zongjiu also said something.
In the ears of ordinary people, these words were simply arrogant and boundless. What did he mean by something that the 10 Directions Medicine Hall couldn't handle? Could it be that a merely Zongjio was more powerful than the 10 Directions Medicine Hall? However, Wu Qingfeng listened attentively. Instead, when he heard these words, a smile appeared on his face. It was hard to imagine that the Vice Hall Master of the 10 Direction Medicine Hall could still laugh after hearing such words. Ordinary people didn't know the power Li Zongjio possessed, but Wu Qingfeng couldn't be more clear about it. With Li Zongjio's ability, he was already so powerful now. In the future, he would be even more powerful. As long as Li Zongjio was still alive, his achievements would be limitless. Of course. I still have some follow-up matters to deal with, so I won't disturb elderly. Wu Qingfeng immediately excused himself. After all, Li Zongjio was now in a state of excitement. In the current situation, he wouldn't care about Wu Qingfeng. Wu Qingfeng had done a very good job in this aspect. He had never been tactless. Tianfei, see him out, Li Zongjio shouted. After all, he was quite satisfied with Wu Qingfeng, so he had to give the latter some face. After Wu Qingfeng's investigation, he also found out that Tianfei's background wasn't simple. Now that he was able to stand beside Li Zongjio, it could be seen that Li Zongjio's strength wasn't simple. There was only Li Zongjio in the room. This is the Drunken Dream Flower. Since you brought it out from such a place, I'd like to see what's so special about you. Immediately, Li Zongjio took out the Drunken Dream Flower from the mysterious yellow iron box. Immediately, the Drunken Dream Flower's power seemed to be revived, and it directly enveloped Li Zongjio. An overwhelming feeling of darkness came over him.
Boom.
At this moment, Li Zongjio couldn't even stand firmly on his feet. He only felt that his head was fiercely bombarded. After stabilizing his body, there was a moment of blurriness in his eyes. At this moment, Li Zongjio seemed to be trapped in chaos, and it wasn't easy for him to stabilize his body. White God Fu. Li Zongjio silently chanted the White God Fu in his heart. The White Dragon original spirit appeared and helped Li Zongjio to stabilize his body. The surrounding scene was filled with white light. This situation seemed to be a terrifying illusion. What a terrifying mental energy pressure. Li Zongjio was also surprised. However, he quickly found a new cultivation method. Immediately, he approached the Drunken Dream Flower and concentrated the energy of this thing on his body. It formed a state of cultivation. Li Zongjio's strength slowly increased under the pressure of the Drunken Dream Flower.
Buzz.
His mental state was also constantly increasing. Ardent Earth Sect. The attack on Ardent Earth Sect was not announced to the public. Of course, such a matter would be covered up as much as possible. Back then, Li Zongjio's attack was very short. Therefore, this matter wasn't announced in a short period of time. However, within the Ardent Earth Sect, there were still many spies who came from other places. Very quickly, this news was leaked out. When the people outside heard about this, it directly caused a huge uproar. They never expected Li Zongjio to be so arrogant. After all, attacking the Ardent Earth Sect within the borders of the Qian region meant that they were still a force to be reckoned with. In just a short period of time, Li Zongjio's reputation increased by another fold. Within Ardent Earth Sect, there was an uproar because of Li Zongjio's matter. Due to the heavy casualties of the elders and the destruction of the book depository building, they couldn't tolerate Li Zongjio. Some people felt that such humiliation was simply unbearable. They had to do their best to kill Li Zongjio. Even if they had to pay a huge price, they had to do it. Otherwise, wouldn't these people's faces be completely lost? Some people also analyzed the situation carefully. Li Zongjio wasn't someone to be trifled with. After all, Li Zongjio was the one who killed the young sect master of Mystic Yuan sect. However, Li Zongjio was still alive and well. This meant that even Mystic Yuan sect couldn't do anything to Li Zongjio. As for the people that the Mystic Yuan sect couldn't handle, they had asked for help from the Ardent Earth sect. This was clearly a borrowed knife to kill someone. Moreover, Li Zongjio's identity was the honorary elder of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Who would dare to mess around? Boom! Just as the people in the meeting hall were discussing intensely, a violent explosion suddenly sounded from the back mountain of Ardent Earth Sect. Then, an aura soared into the sky. Sect Master is out. Everyone's face was filled with surprise. Chapter 8:21. With such a huge commotion, the Ardent Earth Sect was naturally aware of it. Many disciples even thought that someone had come to attack the sect again. However, they soon found out that their sect master had come out of seclusion. When the sect master of Ardent Earth Sect came out of seclusion, Xing Qianqiu heaved a sigh of relief. Without a doubt, the sect master was the main culprit of this matter. If not for the fact that the sect master had sent him a voice transmission to deal with Li Zongjiu, things would not have turned out this way. Now, as the vice sect master, it was quite painful for him to stay in the sect. After all, he was the one who brought these people here. In the end, they destroyed 2 of the sect's buildings and caused heavy casualties. Many elders were also questioning him. What could he do? This matter wasn't what he wanted. Fortunately, the sect master had sent him a voice transmission. Now that the sect master had come out, all the pressure naturally shifted to the sect master. It had nothing to do with him anymore. The sect master of Ardent Earth Sect, Qin Lai. People called him Qin Juyang. This was because Qin Lai cultivated a set of yuan arts called the 9 Suns Divine Art. When he used it, it was as if 9 resplendent suns were revolving around his body. Therefore, he was also called Qin Juyang or Lord Jiu. Qin Lai stepped into the air and stepped into the meeting hall. When Qin Lai's figure landed on the ground, he observed the situation around him. Qin Lai was also clear about the matters within the sect. When he came out of seclusion, he had already learned about it. However, at that time, Qin Lai was at the critical juncture of breaking through, so he could not directly appear. Greetings, sect masters. When Qin Lai entered the hall, the surrounding people immediately came forward to greet him. However, there were even more people whose eyes were filled with grief and indignation. Their lips were also trembling slightly. From the looks of it, it seemed as though they had just walked out from an extremely sorrowful state. Sect Master, I'm useless. Xing Qianqiu directly knelt in front of Qin Lai. Rather than wait for Qin Lai to question him, it was better for him to confess first. That Li Zongjiu is extremely arrogant. Today, he also wants to leave the Qian prefecture. Qin Lai glanced at the people around him and said indifferently, a mere Qilin battleship was enough to scare these people to such an extent. Such a sect was simply a bunch of trash gathered here. Therefore, Qin Lai had to use his own methods to keep Li Zongjiu here. After all, the Mystic Yuan sect had sent a message that they must keep Li Zongjiu within the Qian prefecture. If they could not do so, then, as the sect master, he would not have the slightest bit of face left. Qin Lai beckoned with his hand, and a terrifying aura swept over. The elders of the sect immediately followed after him. In total, there were more than 30 people. Li Zongjiu had killed so many people from the Ardent Earth sect. How could they let Li Zongjiu leave so easily? If he left safely, the Ardent Earth sect would no longer have any reputation to speak of. Black Horse Town. Li Zongjiu was in possession of over 100 Tier 6 spirit herbs, which naturally attracted countless flies. Naturally, these alchemists did not have such strength. However, they were able to gather all the forces within the Qian prefecture. With the strength of these people, even a strong dragon could not suppress a snake in its own territory. No matter how strong one's individual strength was, one would still be able to feel the terror when facing such a terrifying opponent. Therefore, there were already many forces secretly gathering people. 20 miles outside of Black Horse Town, in a ruined temple. This was an earth temple. Unfortunately, it had long been ruined, and spiderwebs had already spread everywhere. Under the pitch-black night sky, there seemed to be a lot of faint lights coming from the earth temple. I just received news that Li Zongjiu will leave tonight. Wherever he passes, he will definitely pass by here. That kid has a battleship in his hands. Now listen to my orders. In the Earth Temple, a calm voice sounded. They were a group of professional robbers and bandits. Their business was usually concentrated after a certain event, and then they would aim at some teams with rich harvests. When the other party did not expect it, they would directly rush out and carry out the most fatal blow. Often, if they did such a thing, they would be able to go back and enjoy themselves for a long time. When the battleship passes by this area, directly release the Mixed Thunder Pearl. Use the power of the Mixed Thunder Pearl to temporarily cause the opponent's battleship to lose its power. If the battleship is destroyed, then these people are like tigers with their teeth pulled out. There was only a flickering candle in the ruined temple. However, in the darkness, there were at least 10 pairs of eyes staring here, all listening attentively. Don't worry, no one has ever been able to escape from the hands of our roaring tiger gang. Someone grinned. Their many years of experience in winning battles had given these people quite a lot of confidence. The opponent this time is not simple. Don't be careless, the leader said in a deep voice. Their group was a group of ruthless people, but this Li Zongjio was also a very difficult guy to deal with. It was not easy to deal with him, so they could not be too careless. Boss, the scouts in front have reported that Li Zongjio has left Black Horse Town and is heading towards us. A scout came to report. Brothers, if we succeed in this mission, then we won't have to worry about the rest of our lives. The man with the code name Roaring Tiger said. The rest of the people also cried out one after another, displaying an extremely strong desire. In the distance, the Qilin battleship was slowly approaching. After the end of the Black Horse Elixir meeting, they had to return to Sacred Flame Imperial City. The disciples sent by the Li family should be arriving soon, so, of course, they had to make proper arrangements. Moreover, Li Yun was also a very talented array master, so naturally, she could not be delayed. Li Zongjio also had to think carefully about which array master to guide Li Yun. After obtaining the Drunken Life Flower, there was no need to stay in Black Horse Town any longer. The people of the Roaring Tiger Gang were already on full alert. When they saw the Qilin battleship appear in their sight, they directly brought out all the people of the Roaring Tiger Gang. There were a total of 20 Yuan King-level experts. With such a huge lineup, they believed that not many people would be able to stop them. It was estimated that even an Origin Emperor-level expert would have to temporarily avoid them. These people did not only have the strength in their hands, but also some strange weapons and magic weapons. When Roaring Tiger saw that the Qilin battleship had entered the shooting range, he was about to give the order to attack, but suddenly, he saw dozens of bright auras coming from further away. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.